So that was the story of the qualifying round. And Malik, we heard Jane there talking about the Olympics, and obviously it's coming up. How much of a focus is that for the athletes and yourself as a coach?
I think it's the main focus for almost everybody. I don't know if you ask anyone down there, do you want to go for it? They're going to say yes for sure. And the road to it, it's pretty interesting. Of course, there's multiple ways you can qualify for lead in bouldering. It's a combined event. And the top 3 from the World Championships will qualify first. After that, there will be continental events where each continent will have an event from October to December, basically, and one spot for each event is given out. And then after that, there is what's called the OQS, which is the Olympic Qualifying Series. The dates are still getting finalized, but most probably around April they will start. There will be 3 events in 3 different places, and a ranking from all 3 will give 7 spots theoretically. I think it'll end up being more like 10 because of a couple of other rules. That'll give the 20 athletes moving into the Olympics. So basically for the OQS, the combined ranking from the season at the end of the year, so in December, there will be a combined ranking which is based on results from 3 Boulder World Cups and 3 Lead World Cups, with the World Championship combined ranking, and the continental events can replace your worst event. You need to have 1 boulder and 1 lead to have a combined ranking. And that can happen by either going to 1 Lead World Cup and 1 Boulder World Cup, or you can choose to go to 1 Boulder World Cup and the World Championship in combined. And the World Championship would replace the idea of a Lead World Cup, and then you can have a ranking.
So glad you said that, because we've got some athletes, for example, Oriane Berton, we're seeing here first time on a lead rope. So athletes are sort of picking and choosing some events.
Yes, I think the coaches will have a lot of input on that, depending on which federation we're talking about. And I don't think Oriane will do another Lead World Cup, to be honest, because she doesn't need to. She has a really good boulder ranking. So if she just gets this one event, she's pretty much guaranteed a spot in the OQS, and then of course she's going to aim for qualifying through the World Championships first and the Continental event if she gets unlucky.
Okay, well that's the challenge ahead, and right now Elnaz Rakabi from Iran is on the wall on this green route, and then Yuval Shemela for the men on the right. But we'll stick with Elnaz as she gets through the bottom part of this route. And Malik, both of us looked at these routes before. Have you got any idea of kind of the style of these routes just by a visual inspection?
There's a couple of really committing moves. We just saw the big cross by Yuval. A few bouldering moves, and we saw that in the style yesterday as well. But higher in the section, it's more, I would say, typical lead style. Lots of power, especially with the guys just past this section where Yuval is going to be.
Yeah, we saw Yuval's trademark power scream there as he went up to the purple pinch. He's over from the US, where he's moved now to study. And there's our split screen. Elnaz climbing her way through the green. And Elnaz is in the first really tricky part of this women's route.
I think that's going to be an interesting jump, very committing jump here.
And you can see her taking her time, right heel hook locked in, but she'll need to figure a way of flicking that out.
Having a good rest here sometimes works against you because you kind of commit less, but she figured a really nice way of going for it.
Yeah, she swung her feet over to the left. Meanwhile, Yuval is still grinding his way up the route. Every move looks like it might be his last.
Looks, very powerful.
Apparently, you've got to match every single one of these blue ones at some point, and there's no feet, as you can. I mean, he's got a toe hook in, but there's nothing to stand down on.
Yes.
So Yuval trying to figure out this sequence, bumps the right hand up. Look, that's an aggressive
He's
scream.
trying hard.
He is. It looks like sometimes a power screen will have more energy than actually climbing the thing, but works for Yuval. And now he gets a moment of respite to shake out, and Elnaz is cruising through the white section.
Nice.
Oh,
come on, Yuval.
Yeah, big bump up at the right. Hits it the second time. He's been screaming
Nice drop
since about move 3. again crosses through to the right hand. And I'd say he might be burning up. I've got no idea with
this
you.
one is going to be...
He's still on. Unbelievable.
Cool. Heel up. Nice.
Flicks into the heel, makes the match, but he's got to do that clip soon. And he's already into the head wall. Super speedy from him. Falls just on
really
the lip.
Nice effort.
Good work from Yuval as he comes down, takes the big swing. But we stick with Elnaz as she has a drop knee in. And obviously, the reason you're here with me, as we just watch Elnaz here, is that none of your athletes got through, and we'll talk about more of that in a second.
Sadly, yes.
But the preparation for these guys, and it's coming up to 12 o'clock Central European time now. What kind of time are they getting up and getting ready for a competition like this?
Well, for today, for example, I think 9:30 was opening of ISO, so you want to at least be up about an hour before, have some breakfast.
Elnaz falls on a shouldery move. Yeah, so they've been up since 9:30, bit of breakfast.
Yep.
And then
9:30 is when Elnaz was definitely in ISO at 9:30. So maybe more like wake up at 8:30, get ready, settled a bit, settle the nerves, then pack up and move to ISO for 9:30 to warm up. Because of the observation, so even though we started now, the observation was half an hour before, so that takes away from the warm-up time. So you want to account for that when you plan your arrival time to ISO.
There we go. There's so much complexity and just sheer logistics that goes into these events, because the warm-up area here in Villars is actually away from the wall, so there's buses that transfer back and forth.
Yeah, it's about 5-minute shuttle bus. But they're really good at having enough shuttles to go. There's almost a shuttle every 5 minutes. So for yesterday, it was, I don't think there were any issues getting here.
Well, Elnaz and Yuval are sitting on the edge of the wall on the benches. We've got a shot there back into the last warm-up area for the athletes. There's a small climbing wall, a couple of holes in there, and the athletes come from behind the wall into this waiting area, and then they enter the tunnel as the seconds tick down.
Yeah, they usually like to have about 3 or 4 athletes behind the wall ready for being tied in and prepared, so it's not a last second tie in and get right into the wall. You can give them time to settle.
Yeah, you don't want to be rushed, do you, as you come out. It was here that Janja Garnbret forgot her chalk bag, didn't she?
Well, she didn't forget it. It dropped after the third move.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was. I actually have an entire video of it. It was pretty impressive. Yesterday, actually, one of the Belgians, his chalk bag dropped halfway through the...
Common problem,
yeah,
clearly.
it's really interesting here. I don't know why.
Right, Hamish MacArthur from Great Britain is underway. He was 27th in his last competition.
Heartbreaker last comp for sure.
Well, you get that feeling with Hamish that, I mean, obviously he's, incredibly talented, but just been missing out on the cut recently.
Yeah, I mean, once you know you're good, sometimes it takes a while to get used to that and get used to the pressure. But he's such a good athlete. I'm really happy to see him in semis again.
Yeah, and on the right hand of your screen is Annie Sanders. Now, she's down as Anastasia on the official list. She doesn't like that. She likes Annie, so that's what we call her.
We'll go with Annie.
Exactly. And she's a bit of an endurance beast.
She is. She's still super young. I'm curious. I was curious about this move for her because I didn't think she's going to like to jump for that hold. She's trying to figure out a different way of doing that. A for creativity.
Yeah, I mean, how much of that is a part of it? Because we know that Annie doesn't like a jump.
I mean, this might actually punish her later. Like, she's spending a lot of energy trying to figure out this move and how not to jump for it. I think once she jumps, she's going to realize, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah. Well, we saw Elnaz do the same thing, sort of pause, rest, work it out.
Yeah.
Hamish is grinding his way through the blue section. He's about to enter sort of the middle crux section of this route. Makes the clip. And let's watch Annie as she sets up for. She does not want to jump. And as a coach, if you get an athlete who perhaps has, not a weakness, but an area of their climbing they don't like so much, do you say to them, look, just figure out different ways, or do you force them to work on those weaknesses?
Ooh, it depends on the athlete. Sometimes athletes don't like being forced to do stuff. Sometimes they're open to it. But it's not about, listen, when you're under pressure, whatever comes natural to you is what you're going to do. So if...
Oh,
wow,
sorry,
nice.
We just saw Annie double jump there.
Very nice. It's, for me, I like to give athletes the option, like if they figure it out in a different way, that's fine, but try to explain to them, hey, like this is a different also way of doing it, and we should be able to practice that just in case you're forced to do it at a comp.
All right, well, Annie's through that section, but it might have cost her a bit in energy. She tried going feet first, and Hamish has a toe hook locked in, and he'll take a moment to shake out here. Men's route seems to be climbing very quickly. I mean, he's almost at the head wall already.
Yes.
A couple of minutes in. We haven't got a clock for the semi-finals, clock for the finals. But we'll let you know if time becomes an issue, but I don't think it will on routes like this.
See the different styles between Hamish and Annie. They're about 5 draws separated right now.
Yeah, Hamish super quick. Annie is resting on the white section. Hamish into the head wall. And this is roundabout where Yuval fell. Gets the right
nice,
half.
Hamish.
He's screaming as well. Hamish, couple of moves away.
Heel slips off.
Yeah, that left dish he was on is not as good as it looks. All right, Hamish returns to the ground. Good performance from him. We'll have to wait and see if that's enough. Remember, only 8 athletes make it through to the finals, and Annie has spent an age resting on these crims. And now she crosses through with the left. And we'll look to unwind. Whoa. I'm not sure
her elbow's gonna come a little bit high. She's getting tired for sure.
And hands, yeah, flicks it around the rope.
Wow.
Now this is where Annie Sanders' endurance needs to play a part. She's pumped, she falls, and I think, as you said, going feet first through that bottom section cost her.
Yes, absolutely.
So Annie has a look up.
So she hits the same spot as Elnaz. And because they were tied during qualification, they'll still be tied for semifinals.
All right, well, Annie's comp for the moment is done. We'll have to wait and see. Hamish is waiting on the left, having a chat to himself. And Lena, our photographer, you'll see a sec as we walk over. Our camera follows. There's Hamish.
I think he'll be happy with that climb.
It was a good performance. Hamish looks in fine form at the moment. Looks lean, strong. Climbed smoothly yesterday, and Annie turns back towards the wall. Quite a private person is Annie. I know her well, and yet she has that.
She is 15.
Yes, like exactly. She's 15.
She's 15. You know, I think she'll need time to feel comfortable around everybody else. Yeah, we've kind of met through a couple of training sessions around Innsbruck. She seems super nice. But definitely shy. We spoke with her mom a little bit more than her.
Yeah, I know her mum very well. We kind of give each other the raised eyebrows through competitions because her mum travels the world as much as everyone on the circuit does. You know, at 15, you need that parental figure there.
For sure.
Now we're having a look at the women's, the sort of middle part of the women's, that big purplish, I don't know what colour it's called, that pink volume that characterises this wall.
Yes.
It's a route setters love to play with. Well, we've got 2 athletes done. If you're just joining us, welcome to Villars sur Orlon in Switzerland. My name is Matt Groom. I'm here with Malik Talem, who is the head coach of Canada, and of course a couple of other athletes under your wing as well. Genya, of course.
Yeah, I mean, you know, even on the Canadian team, I'm not the personal coach of every athlete, but I do coach a few of them. And then I do have athletes that either work with me full-time or just come for a few sessions from time to time. And Genya is, I coach Genya full-time.
All right, well, coming on is Marcello Bombardi, old school legend, tends to muscle his way through routes, and then on the right is Sol Sat from Korea. And it was good to see Marcello qualify. He climbed fairly early yesterday and then had to wait around, but nice to see him there. And Sol Sat, with hardly any hesitation, gets on the wall.
It was a very long day yesterday, for sure.
It was. I've never been so damp in my life.
I was shivering, and then by the end of it, it was...
But, I mean, we laugh about it. We weren't climbing, but it was tricky for the athletes with conditions.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And the fog came in from time to time, covered half the wall. I'm not sure the photographers were very happy yesterday.
Yes, a lot of... a couple of blown-out shots I saw as the clouds came through. But there is a wonderful view here this morning, and the clouds are protecting us from the heat as well, so pretty perfect conditions. And Marcello launches himself up into the first of the hard sections, and Sol Sat is about to try to figure out this jump. It's innocuous, this jump, because it doesn't look too bad from the ground, but then you realize how big the swing is with the feet over to the left.
Yes, and you know, when you're on the wall and you're kind of jumping backwards as well. Wow, nice.
Yeah, straight
you know, it's more like a commitment test than a difficulty test.
Yeah, I feel like the route setters have a couple of tricks, and that's one of the ones they use sometimes. You know, an early move that you don't want to fall on.
Yeah, and if you look at the time that Solsa took to actually commit to this jump compared to Elnaz and Annie, you know, she committed way earlier. So we'll see if that kind of gives her an advantage up higher.
Solsa has a chance of a personal best here. Her previous score has been 12th. She could do better if she makes it through. And no real pause from Solsa. Got that jump done quickly. And Marcello is about to enter the physical part of this route into the crimp first of all, and then we'll bump towards the sloper. Up he goes, into the pinch, cuts loose, swings the right foot around, and now he looks solid. And Solsa, of course, big of that Korean team that have really come on in recent years. There are stars in that squad.
Absolutely. And they're prepping for the next world champs, I guess, after next year. So
yeah, world champs will be in Korea. Oh, Seoul.
I'm sure they want to have really good performances from their athletes.
Yeah, and there's the youth coming up as well after the world champs in Korea.
That's correct, yeah.
So Solsa had a little foot swap, settled herself. Marcello, great shot from the wall as he grimaces his way through. That's such an awkward high toe hook.
Wow.
Seoul falls, similar place.
Yeah.
So by now we've worked out a little bit. We have an early women's crux. Well, an easy-ish jump if you figure it out, then a definite crux about halfway through. Marcello falls.
I think that was one too many powerful moves for Marcello.
Yeah, he is down and done, and I'm not sure that's going to be enough for the finals for him. Solsa unties. I always think it's unfair they make the athletes untie their own ropes. Because they have to use a figure of 8 knot, which tends to lock up.
Yep.
I think they should have a volunteer do that,
They're
maybe.
pretty soft catches normally, so it's okay.
Yeah. All right, well, Seoul goes to the side area by the speed wall, and the speed finals qualifying and practice will all take place on Sunday, which is a nice change of pace, actually. We get the lead done today. It's all finished, and then we return for speed tomorrow. Solsa swaps those shoes around, flip-flops on. Marcello undoes the knot. And he continues. So Canada is one of those teams. You guys, unfortunately, don't have a World Cup, and therefore you're on the road for most of the time.
We are.
It must be exhausting.
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky to be able to go home for a little bit of just change of pace last week after Innsbruck. I went home for a week. Which, if I didn't, I would have been in Europe for 2.5 months. So now I'm here till mid-August in a carry-on bag only.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do the same. I've had one too many bags lost.
Yeah. You know, the one time I actually forgot my only bag in Germany just before COVID, and was stuck at Jenny's place for a year and a half.
No way, really?
Because COVID, like, everything got shut down. So I
just hand luggage for a year and a half. Those boxes, Malik, must have been interesting. I don't want to know. All right, well, we're waiting for the next athlete. This is one of our judges at the front. And thank you to all the organisers for putting on this comp as usual. We return to Villars every year. And we had the paraclimbing comp last weekend. And if you're watching this on YouTube, well, you'll be in an area that isn't restricted, but the paraclimbing comp is free anywhere in the world. So do go and watch that. It's a brilliant event. Lots of incredible climbing, and it was a lot of fun last weekend. So I would recommend that if you haven't had your fill of comp climbing yet. All right, next up is going to be Hélène Janicourt from France and Jules Marchland from France as well. Now, Team France, we've got the stats of how many athletes have come through, and Team France are right up there. As a coach, a program like that, you must appreciate how hard it is to develop that and to continue it.
Yeah, I mean, the French have a really long history, and they have all. If you look at how many setters, IFSC setters there are, I think the max number per federation is the French. They have excellent setters. I try to, bring them to Canada from time to time. But it's a huge advantage to have a setting team that is at that high level. They climb hard. They understand the level. They're at events all the time, and that is definitely a big part. Remy, for example, he was a coach for a long time, and now he's one of the setters. So a lot of these tests I think they get those tests all the time during training in France. So.
Well, I mean, we were looking at Hélène Génicourt. She, of course, was an IFSC route setter before flicking back into athlete
very
mode.
interesting path right now for her.
I remember her saying, look, I was doing all the moves in the things I was setting, so I thought, why can't I still compete? And boy, has she done well. Finals in Innsbruck, had an early slip. But
yes, yesterday was a little bit of a heartbreaker on the first route for her, and she kind of kept it together for the next one and made it through, and that was nice
I
to
was
see.
Very impressed with her mental game, because occasionally it looks like she gets in her own head, but yesterday she really pulled it back from the brink. And Jules
with the campus move.
Yeah, and he's, again, really fast. I think all the men have seen how physical the bottom part of this route is and just want to get it done as fast as possible. Really awkward left toe, though.
Went away from Marcello's crossing, like matching and crossing on that, and he just bumped the left hand instead.
All right, Jules comes into the physical bit. We're going to see some gurning going on there. Right foot up nice and high, matches, and he'll make this clip we should do from down here. And Hélène resting, she made it through the jump nice and smoothly. And it must be not, I mean, it's a part of your skill set, but for Hélène, she'll know that jumps like that tend to not be too hard, but you just have to go for it. I mean, she set them herself.
Yes, but when you're, in the hot seat, sometimes it's a lot harder to commit when it's you on the wall.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, Jules
is cruising.
Yeah, he really is.
Resting, nice.
No power screws from him. But these moves burn you out. The feet are terrible. He's just on smears. And we should point something out here. You can see by his right elbow there's a little bit of blue. Now, that is a screw-on bit of no textured surface. It's also used in the women's route, and I've never seen, well, the route, no one has seen it before. It's brand new for this comp. You see our split screen. Hélène.
So let's see if Hélène does anything different here from the other three that we've seen.
Yeah, well, she makes the left hand, but this shoulder move is powerful.
Nice. Match there somehow.
Yeah, and Jules is reaching a high point as well, but watch this left heel, it's slippery, and he immediately turns it into a toe. But he's going.
There's the match from Hélène.
Yeah.
So he gets at the same point as Hamish, but because of countback, he'll bump ahead of him for now.
Jules looks absolutely wasted out there, gave it everything. Look at this from Hélène. Now this is another cruxy sequence. You kind of go under the roof and then have to go back towards the left.
Oh, she's getting pumped though.
She is, look at those elbows.
There we go.
When we say elbows, Malik, what are we actually talking about when we say that?
Well, we call that chicken wings. Basically, ideally you want your elbow underneath, like you want to pull straight from the best edge on the hold with your fingers and draw a straight line straight down to your elbow. So normally that'll be a little bit lower from where she's at, but she's fighting through right now.
A great endurance from Hélène as she drops towards the left. She competed in a lot of boulder events as well. And finally slips, but good performance from her. 3/4 of the way up that route, just before the head walk. And we'll have to wait and see for her score. All right, well, Team France will leave the stage together, and we have another member of Team France on next, in Oriane Berton, and then our first Japanese athlete of the afternoon. And then what happened? Oh, look at that shot. That is Villars. We're up on the mountains. Aigle is down below. Chamonix is off towards the left, where we'll be driving over the mountains for the next World Cup. Geneva Lake on the right-hand side, behind that hill skyline you can see. And it's a funny old place, this Villars, isn't it, Malik? It's lovely to come to, but it's a weird little village.
Very memorable every time, though.
Sort of perched in the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
It's this eagle's nest.
Yeah, the first time coming here, it's I think I took the bus and just up through the mountains and winding roads, and couldn't tell if I was going to the right place, to be honest.
Yes, exactly. You should drive upwards towards nothing. Yep. All right, so the athletes get ready and get their kit together. Usually this is backstage. I quite like seeing their after comp prep.
Yeah. It gives us a perspective that we usually don't see. A little bit of the emotions of the athletes right after.
Right, Haruki Amura from Japan is on, and there is Oriane Berton, her first lead comp of the year. And really, as you said, this is a points game for her, especially at this point.
Yeah, and you know, with the World Championships coming up, I would assume they're going to go back to training because, again, she has such a good boulder results that she does not need 3 lead events. 1 is enough for the OQS, and I'm sure they're aiming to qualify before that.
Right, so Haruki prepares himself. He gets ready. And both athletes now underway. So Oriane smooth through the first bit. And Haruki, part of this Japanese squad and very new to IFSC climbing.
Yeah, this is his first lead World Cup. So that's actually his first World Cup in either discipline. So really nice, you know, I mean, the Japanese, you don't expect anything else, anyone coming in, you expect them to be in semis and moving to finals even.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I always talk about the difficult task Japanese selectors must have.
Oh.
Nightmare with this many good athletes.
Yes.
And Miho Nanaka was downgraded her score yesterday because she stood and used a bolt.
Yes.
Shame not to see her today, but it happens. We have.
It's you know, I mean, I'm shocked that happened because you can see right now almost all the bolts have covers on them, and it's okay to stand on the cover. So it's too bad they missed one maybe yesterday, and.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they don't just. I actually spoke to a route setter this morning about it, saying, "Look, why don't you just cover them all?" And he was like, "Well, some of them you just won't stand on." But yeah, I think by the time we get to the Olympics, we'll see all bolts covered.
Absolutely.
Right, Oriane is powering her way through, as we'd expect from her style, on the left, and then Haruki is on the physical part now. Look at this from Oriane, easily into the shoulder.
Nice.
I'm trying to work out if that's sun cream or chalk on her back. Kind of like, yeah, I think it's sun cream. Oh, she's looking for the knee bar there. I don't think there's one to be had. No.
Come on. Oh.
Misses the jump out to the right, so slightly beneath where Helene was. But for Oriane, 4 points.
I think that's a great result.
Yeah. She's more of a boulder specialist. All right, well, let's stick our PTZ camera on the wall as we can see Haruki coming under. Looking very, very calm. But you can see how awful the feet are from that shot. Just smearing, pressing against it.
Oh.
And a slip, early slip for the men's route.
Yeah, I think it's easier if you grab the hold as an undercling. Instead, he had his hands kind of left hand thumb down. I think if he flipped it and had his left hand on the left side, so as an undercling on both hands, it would have been a better position.
So Oriane's talking to the MC down at the front. I love this. This is brilliant. MC is, well, notorious on the scene. He's in Chamonix, he's in Villars, Briançon. She now leaves him, goes to the edge, and everyone gets set for the next series. And they're actually bringing out a tent for the athletes now. There you can see it coming onto the screen.
Hopefully because it's the sun, not the rain.
I think it must be sun, although having said that, the clouds aren't looking wonderful up there.
We'll stay positive. We'll say it's the sun.
After yesterday, I had to. We did have, to let you know if you're listening at home, a horrendous weather forecast. I woke up in the morning yesterday and I was convinced that competition wasn't going to go ahead. I was like, 40 mils of rain or whatever it was, no way, but luckily it held off enough.
Yeah, yes, I'm very happy that we finished, but I'm shocked.
Yeah, it was an experience. Go check out the photos if you haven't already from yesterday. That's our crowd as the drone passes by. And the next 2 athletes are on. Luka Potiča from Slovenia and his teammate Luka Rakovic. And Luka needs to have a good comp here. You know, it's been up and down. I think sometimes struggling with confidence, and I want to see her back in a final.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what she's going to do with that jump, if she's going to commit to it or not. And Luka, I mean, after having last season was amazing for him. He missed finals last comp in Innsbruck. Let's see what he does here today.
Yeah, brilliant. It is home World Cup in Slovenia last year. He cruises up, gets that clip in from fairly high up above it, makes it into a double. And Lučka is underway on the left. So Luca into the intermediate crimp. It's just used to adjust the hand so you can do that across. Reaches himself through and clips in. And Malik, usually when you have an athlete in the competition at this stage, are you backstage in the isolation area or are you out front watching and cheering?
No, so basically the day will start with them in ISO. And depending, like I'm the only coach for the team. So I would leave ISO at the start of the competition to watch the rest of the athletes, make sure, you know, like the judging is fine. We don't need to do any appeals or anything like this. Most of the time, Luca almost missed that. Wow.
Yeah, it was unlocking those toes caused the swing. Kind of a half commitment from her there, but she made it work. Yeah. Okay, so you're out front, you're cheering at the athletes, but you can't obviously shout beat her up at them, can you?
You cannot shout, no, absolutely not. In qualification you can, because it's non-ISO, so you can communicate with the athletes. It's usually more for confidence than telling them, you know, the sequence. Once you're up there, it's really hard. Unless you're like really used to the athlete and they're used to you, sometimes that could work. But usually it's just cheering, you know, especially if it's like a hard move, they need commitment. Hearing the voice sometimes of the coach definitely helps.
All right, well, the athletes, no falls yet, but both of them starting to enter the crux. Luchka climbing a little slower, and as we expect by now, Luca is on a bit of a speed sesh on the left of your screen.
There we go, better foot positioning here. He had his foot way high earlier.
So this is where we've seen a few different hand movements from the men.
Yeah, so that's what I meant there. He grabbed it both as an undercling. And that is a better position for the next move.
Yeah, into that slopey pinch up to the left. And he approaches the head wall. Luchka is on the first real cruxy move here, out to the shoulder. She holds it well. Look at that from Luchka.
Yes.
Clearly still fresh. It's a long clip, that. If I saw that on a lead route, I'd be worried about the run-out potential. The athletes obviously never really think about the big falls.
Yeah, you want to trust that the players are super confident and kind of understand what they need to do.
So Luchka with the heel in. This is hard though now. She has to unlock it and bumps it into her toe. And look at Luca as well. Luchka falls. Luca is on the really physical bit,
Luca.
standing on the coping. It's slippy.
This is hard. Oh.
That bit of metal on camera always looks quite good. And then you see it on the wall and it's tiny.
It's not very good for sure.
And it's metal. So
I've
slippy.
built a wall and I've put this thing like this on my wall, and it's really hard to stand, for sure. Maybe better than nothing, but it's not great because it's metal, it's slippery.
Yeah, and it kind of looks like one of those things, well, I'll stand on it, I'll try it. It can sometimes trick the athletes a bit. And that is the coaching area down at the front that Malik was talking about earlier, between the blue and white. That's where the coaches sit, they film, and then the audience stand behind them. And that big open bit at the front is for the judges, and there was tents put up yesterday because of the rain. And lots of funky looking lights. Careful, Mr. Droman, don't hit a tree, please. So there's everyone. Nice atmosphere here in the stadium as well. There's food down the side, there's a drinks area at the back. Nice to see Tom back from Team GB. Had a bit of a break from comp climbing and he returns to the circuit. German team down at the front there, Japanese team. And those iPads, you must have hundreds of hours of footage.
Yes. I mean, some federations film differently. Some federations like film the entire competition. Some only their own athletes. But this is really good, for example, if there's a judging issue, the athletes then can have, or the coaches can look back and see if there's anything that you can appeal, for example. So I'm sure with Miho yesterday, they did that with the video.
All right, so on the left, Ryo Nakagawa gets going from Team Japan. And then Taisei Homa on the right, another Team Japan member. He had a fairly early slip for him on one of the routes yesterday, and he had to bounce back. Ryu gets stood up underneath those stacked volumes. You can see the lights shining off the no-tech surface. Works her feet through into the heel hook. And looked for a second like she was trying to get a knee bar in there. With the women, seem to look for knee bars everywhere. Well, there is a very special knee bar blocker at the top of the women's route, which we'll chat to when they get there, but it's been deliberately placed, but that will come up later. Taisei Homer is doing well, a regular in the finals.
Oh, nice.
And an easy swing from Ryu. Yeah, Taisei Homer, regular in the finals. He's won World Cups, of course. A real lead specialist in that Japanese team. But is there place for specialists nowadays?
Well, I was going to say maybe it's less pressure on them right now because with the so-called non-specialists, they feel like they need to perform for more reasons. You know, but more and more right now, everyone's... I mean, I would say Orient is a boulder specialist for sure.
Yeah, and people like Toby Roberts, of course, will climb later on. He was definitely a lead specialist until recently, and he's turned into a gold medal winning boulder.
No, Toby's like having a phenomenal season. It's really impressive. Really, really cool to see.
All right, keep an eye on these. Ryu is through the hard bit, or the bottom section anyway, into the crimps, which are all blocked and fairly nasty. And Taisei Homer is going to have to work this out and fight.
He's struggling a little bit here. There we go.
Yeah, the athletes have had time to get into lead shape by now. Seems like most people have been living in Innsbruck for the last couple of weeks, training on that giant wall. Ryu tries to figure out the right foot. There isn't really one. Just goes straight up with the left hand.
Nice. So she went with the heel.
Yeah, makes the clip. Taisei is looking very confident as he comes into the pinches, but as we know, the men's crux is on that head wall. And that's the coping you can see with that shot. And now you understand, oh, we lose Ryu. She falls again on that big green volume, has a questioning look around the corner.
Her left hand on that crimp wasn't perfect. She just missed the hold a little bit and couldn't adjust, so she tried to go for it, but...
This is hard for the men, because that left heel kind of gets in the way.
This is the high point right now.
He tries to stand on the coping, drops the foot, and again, similar kind of thing. It seems like they're getting the left toe heel kind of stuck, and they can't drive off the right.
You can't really push with the heel to go right, like it wants to make you push left. So that's why they switched the toe, just to put more load on the right side.
So, 2 Japanese athletes done. Will move through. 26 made it through. We're looking for just 8 for tonight's finals. That lead wall will be stripped. 2 brand new routes put up. And you can see now, I think it is a bit of rain out there, because they're moving the tent towards the walk-in zone. And yesterday that was heavily covered and had matting on the floor. So perhaps a bit of drizzle out there.
Doesn't seem it's affecting the spectators yet. They're still sitting enjoying.
Yeah, no umbrellas out yet. I think perhaps just preventative measure. I mean, and it's a good idea. You don't want to
better be ready for sure.
Exactly. Drying up a stage is way harder. All right, so you can see on your screen, lead wall on the right, athletes gathering in a little tent on the left, and there's 4 of them now, all chatting about the route. And we do see this in the finals, where the athletes come onto a sofa area after they've climbed, and it's part of my favourite point. I almost want a cheeky microphone in there. Sometimes we get to hear what they're saying, and it's so interesting. You know, it's always beta talk, of course, but it's mostly people being like, I had no idea what to do. Like, I just jumped. All right, Lucia Dorfel from Germany, her first lead semi-final. Team Germany, another team coming up and through, and then Paul Gemft on the right from France.
Paul looked really good yesterday.
Yeah, unique style that Paul has. He uses his height so well. Reaches up to the first clip. And Lucia will begin her semi-final on the left. What a moment for her as she pulls on. Paul reaching high, making the clips. And again, as a coach, when you have someone, if you had someone like Paul who has very different style, do you kind of look at an athlete like that and you go, wow, this is different, this is interesting, how can I sort of improve his skills? Like, do you try to work with the athlete's body shape and
Yeah,
and
I mean,
style?
there's no. I mean, if you only have one style, one way of coaching, or every athlete, you're not going to be a very successful coach.
Well, we talk about styles. Paul went the
Wow,
360 method, which
nice.
is
I
the
think the root
intended,
setters are very happy seeing that.
and he found a knee bar, and that's what he does. He just sees things a little differently.
Yeah, I mean, you want to climb to the best of your own abilities. That's the goal, I think, of every athlete. And Paul has different abilities than others, and he should be able to use that.
Yeah, skillful climber. Well, we'll keep an eye on him. Sia has made that jump pretty easily, very confident from her. Steps through.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. No, I wasn't sure if everyone's gonna, if that jump is gonna be like a blocking move for anybody, but it seems fine. Maybe the fact that everyone's been bouldering also.
Yes, that's true. It's a good point. I mean, the setters told me they expected to lose a couple on that jump. But as we progress through, I think as the athletes maybe are a bit more experienced towards the bottom half, I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I'd be surprised now if anyone falls on that.
We've cursed it now, though, Malik. Everyone's going now.
Gotta make the root setters happy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
This is it. Look at that
A
high.
heel toe cam there with the...
Oh, yes. So
everyone else was standing on the volume. Now he's he got a volume, but with a toe hook on where he has his hand now. Very creative.
It is creative, and it makes him great to watch, but he's having to fight too.
And this might be a little bit harder for a taller athlete here with those moves, because it's like a lot of compression.
Yeah, breathing hard as he shakes out. Lucia makes the shoulder move. Crosses through, but she's ignoring that clip at the moment, which is usually a sign that they might be getting a bit pumped.
She's going to need to...
Oh, that's awkward.
Nice. She grabs that crimp really well.
Big jump though now. And a slip from her.
Yeah, I think the pump got to her.
Yeah, made the decision to make that clip. And look at that knee, another knee bar in from Paul. And
wow.
He just, look, he's almost no hand resting. He has got his left hand underneath, but that's using your natural advantages to the full.
Yep.
And fine, maybe he doesn't fit into some boxes when you climb. If it's compression moves or tight moves, he'll struggle. But stuff like that,
he is really taking advantage of that right now.
He is. He's got the time. He climbed quickly through the bottom. Powerful move up though. Gets the left toe locked in. And this big cut loose move that no one's dropped so far. Gets the right, I don't think anyone's dropped so far. Gets the right foot, rocks upwards. And Paul approaches the head wall. You can see the jib. Oh, so slow motion, that fall.
Wow, very dramatic move there.
All right, so let's imagine you're in your coaching role right now. Your athlete comes down from the wall, they then leave, they come into the stadium. Do you have to play how you behave with them depending on the athlete? Sometimes it's comforting. What do you do?
Listen, I'm not gonna lie, my emotions are on my face all the time. They're gonna know exactly what I'm thinking, I think. But every semifinal is different for each athlete. Like for me, even qualification round, every athlete is at a different place in their training. There's different goals. Some athletes right now are only focused on OQS, right? So whether you're 15th or 25th, maybe that's not a huge difference. But if this was your performance and we came to this comp to make finals and win or whatever, then it becomes a different aspect. So my reaction is based on each athlete, what my expectations were for them, and then did they climb to their potential for the day. Some aren't fully ready yet. It might be world champs that they're ready, not now, and that should be okay. So the assessment changes.
And I think people underestimate how much of a people person you have to be as a coach. I mean, for example, I hate tough love. I need to have my hand held through stuff. But you have to change and adapt to the athletes you're working with.
Yeah, if you're not adaptable, it's going to be a struggle for sure. Different athletes have very different mentalities. They might take a comment as criticism, not as an attempt to improve performance. and it takes a while to read each athlete.
Yeah, experience counts. Well, Lynn van der Meer from the Netherlands is on the left. Neo Monchois from France is on the right. Quickly pulls off the ground into the yellow slopers. And is underway. Coming up to 12:43 at the moment in Switzerland. Hello, if you're joining us from around the world. I hope you're having a good afternoon. And let's watch again as Lynn goes up for the, try to do it ecstatically. It's just too extended to do that statically. She's in now and we'll take a moment to rest here. Neo is through the yellows, climbing a little slower than some of the other men we've seen, just taking his time. Time not a factor, no tops so far. And you just saw the score as well. We'll keep that updated as we go. But if you don't know the rules of lead climbing, every hold is worth a point. If you use the hold going to the next one, you get a plus, and that plus is always controversial. It's up to the judge's discretion, but basically you have to move your center of mass and gravity towards the next hold, and you can't just slap for it, can you?
No, I mean, you need to be moving upwards towards that hold. You need to show that motion. And you need to be using the previous hold. So let's say I'm on hold 19. I jump to grab hold 20 and I fall. I get 19 plus. But if I grab 19, didn't like it, went back down to 18 and tried to jump up to hold 20, I don't get the plus. Unless someone else does that and sticks the move. So there's lots of, sometimes there'll be confusion in terms of the pluses, and sometimes that changes in scoring after halfway through the round, for example.
Yeah, and that's a very good point. When you're watching this live, as you are, of course, back at home, then do remember the results can alter after appeals, and we'll talk about appeals during the cleaning break because it's a fascinating topic. But what happens in the results, once this comp finishes, that can change. All right, Lynn is into the green. Her crux is coming up. And Neo is underway. He was 30th in Innsbruck. Hadn't competed since 2021 before Innsbruck, so good to see him back.
So half the athletes have been using the heel up where she just puts her toe there, and half are going with the lower foot. She tried the heel, didn't like it, and then went down.
Yeah, we've lost Lynn on the left. We'll stick with Neo as he comes into the thuggy section. You can see the amount of chalk on these holds. Out to the right, so the crimp locks it off. We watch Neo fighting his way through. Big power scream up to the pinch. You can see that screw-on bit of plastic on the black volume that's got no texture, and again, it's to prevent a knee bar in there.
That was a really nice toe hook.
Looking very confident as he comes through, makes the clip, but now he's having to work. Look at the elbows coming up on the right.
Nice.
From here on, every man has, it looked like a complete battle from here onwards. Left heel up. Pops the heel and goes. I think he was on the way.
That should not count as a plus. Speaking of pluses.
Okay, why wouldn't that count as a plus?
Because he was falling already down. And then as he's like, oh, I'm falling, might as well, you know, make it harder for the judges. So I'm going to raise my hand. So I'm very curious now if they're going to...
We will see. Well, we're watching a replay here of Lynn van der Meer. This is where she fell, double hands on the underclink, and she came down. That was the moment from her. All right, well, coming up towards the halfway point here. 4 athletes to go on both sides before we have our cleaning breaks. It'll signal the halfway point. Behind our drone is the mountain behind Villars, where the ski area is. There's a lift that goes up there.
Interesting, they didn't give him 32 even. They gave him 31 plus.
Okay, so a different scoring there from Neo, and that might be one the French team are going to appeal, and we will chat about the appeal process, because I love hearing about the appeal process, and we'll talk about that during the cleaning break. All right, next 2 athletes, so get ready. Jesse Grouper, he was in my commentary box in Innsbruck. Brilliant to have him. Of course, I want him to make a final, so I never want to see him again. But it was wonderful having him up here. And then Alana Skusek from Slovenia is on the left. I do think the Slovenian team and the USA team need to have a chat about uniforms, because from a distance, it's very hard to tell.
Yes, for sure. I mean, to be honest, even the French this year, it was confusing for a while for me.
Yeah.
Especially in warm-up, like you're trying to find your own athletes, or you know, and
you need like a cowbell around their necks just in case, so you don't lose them. Yeah, during quali there's well, I think we had 150 plus athletes for each side registered yesterday.
Some of our athletes warm up in last year's jersey, which was black, and Mejdi and Victor have the same like haircut right now. So a couple of times I almost went to Mejdi and be like, hey, like, why are you warming up so early?
I'm glad you make that mistake. I occasionally do that during a semi-final boulder round as well, so I'm glad I'm not the only one. All right, Jesse Greenper has doubled up. There's not two of him, but there we go. Jesse is heel hooking his way through the yellow volumes.
I'm sure the cameraman also got confused by the jerseys. That's why.
Yes, exactly. That's the reason, must be. I mean, it is confusing when you look at it. All right, Jesse did a lot of the boulder comps this year, but he's another one trying to break through, just being a specialist into the boulder. Big swing there from Lana Skusek. Gets the drop knee in as well.
I mean, you can't really blame Jesse for wanting to do the boulders. Everyone's going to test their chances to qualify for the Olympics for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. He's one who could, if he just ups that boulder game a bit over the next couple of months. He's such a good lead climber.
Yeah, I mean, it's for the US team, it's going to be really hard to find the 5 athletes that you want to choose to go. The nice thing is, you know, he has a chance with the OQS, so he just needs to beat out a couple of other athletes in terms of the ranking, and then he kind of controls his destiny with that.
Lana Skusek's best result in a World Cup was 7th, so she has another opportunity to improve on that. And Jesse with a rather unique rest down there on the crimps. Paul had a knee bar shoved in on the left, but Jesse showing off how strong his fingers are. Shakes out. Lana crosses underneath.
Wow.
Nearly lost it there. Our mic's on the wall, picking up a lot of the sounds. The athletes aren't kicking the wall quite as hard as that, but it's really good to see. But a left hand slip as she went for the shoulder.
The last 3 moves for Lana, she was too stretched on each move.
So no go for Lana. Now it's interesting when we talk about styles. Jesse is not the fastest climber in the world, and he has certainly taken his time through the bottom.
Yes. Jesse climbs very meticulous and slow. I think he has incredible grip strength, so he tries to use that to his advantage. He's able to rest on certain holds. You know, I mean, he won 2 World Cups last year in Briançon. I'm still trying to figure out how he kept holding on. Like, it was incredible. Like, I thought he was going to fall like maybe 12 moves beforehand, and he kept on kind of falling upwards.
He absolutely does. He gives me the sweatiest fingers of any athlete. Him and Taisei Homer.
For sure.
I'm like, and I said to him, I was like, Jesse, please stop looking like you're always about to fall off, because it gives me a heart attack. Right, he reaches through to the jib, and that's the first time I've already seen that, actually. There is a jib under there. But then the other hand has to use the sloper. Nice hand bump on this sequence.
Wow.
But a fall for Jesse, and that is not going to be a finals place for him. Looks back up on the wall. His teammate will be up next, Colin Duffy, and Vita Lucan from Slovenia. And Jesse breathing hard.
I mean, that's really is anti-style in terms of, it's not crimps, it's not stuff that you can just control fully. You got to move through the holds. So open-handed holds, it's a little bit tougher maybe for him on that section.
We can see a lot of the athletes breathing hard. How much does altitude affect them? Because we're fairly high here. Is it something you need to get used to as an athlete? Do you acclimatize your athletes?
We don't really have time to do that, right? I mean, 10 days ago we were in Innsbruck, and most of them stayed in Innsbruck to train. It's a lot harder to kind of training are more expensive, to be honest.
Yes, Swiss gyms.
Yeah. You know, but I mean, Vale used to always be an issue for sure. It was really hard in Vale, even just walking to the venue. But here, I honestly, we haven't felt it that much. So I don't think.
Yeah, and I guess after here to Chamonix, which is a bit higher, they'll be ready at that point.
For sure.
Whatever. Right, Colin Duffy on the right, and then Vita Lucan on the left. I can't wait to watch her on that shoulder move in the middle.
Yeah, it's nice to see Vita. She got back last comp in Innsbruck. She has a knee issue a little bit, so it's really good to see her back.
Yeah, and Colin Duffy, his story of the season is close but so far.
Yes.
You know, I mean, gosh, it's heartbreaking. Nearly made finals so many times.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're able to deal with that, that's what makes you great. You know, he's been able to make it when it counts. You know, like I mean, no one expected him to be in the Olympics, to be honest, right? And so he's definitely a favorite still.
Yeah, of course, double gold medalist in Innsbruck last year, so he's definitely got the talent for it. Just needs for it all to come together. I feel at the moment with Colin, he just needs a massive confidence boost. You know, he just needs to get into a final and then be like, right, okay, we're all good, and carry on. And look at that confidence.
Maybe that, I was just going to say, there we go.
Yeah.
He heard you.
He did. They do. They listen.
Come on, Vita. Perfect.
Oh, look at that left arm lock off. She's so strong at that.
Nice. That'll give her a little bit of confidence for sure, too.
All right, well, Vita's through safely. No one falling on the jump yet. And Colin cuts loose, swings the feet over to the right. Vita crossing through, makes the clip. And I hope you're enjoying our very nice feeling semi-final here in Villars. Athletes coming out in the opposite order from where they qualified. So out last will be Janja Garnbret and Adam Ondra, two names you might have heard of before. They'll be climbing last here on the wall.
I'm still shocked that this is Adam's first time in Villars.
Crazy, isn't it?
It's his 30th lead World Cup, I think, but first time in Villars.
He'll be in action in about an hour or so. Vita blows the chalk from her hands as she makes the cross underneath. That's what she's holding on to. Horrible holds, all blocked. And Colin has very calmly just been powering through here. Now that's the knee bar that I think Paul got in, and that's where he had this big shakeout.
Yep.
The difference
it's
in height,
not
you can
fitting
see.
right now.
Yeah.
Wow, Vita.
Look at that power from Vita Luca. This is the move I wanted to see her on. That left hand blocked, crosses through.
Flip that hand, nice shake.
Hasn't made the clip yet, now reaches back under. And Colin will do a thuggy move left. He has this
Colin's
TikTok
climbing really
swing.
confidently though. You know, like think of how many times his feet got loose. Very calm.
Yeah, hopefully this is the moment it comes together for Colin. Vita is underneath the roof, and that is actually a good shot to show how overhanging that section is. He's right underneath it.
Come on, Vita looks fresh still.
She does. This is the move though. Can she hold it?
There we go. Nice. Wow.
Straight, and doesn't hang around either. Crosses through, and she's right up there in terms of points now. Gets this draw swinging away from her face. Look at Colin as well. He's made it through that move.
Vita just bailed on the clip just to get a few points, and I think she's gonna.
Yes, there Vita goes. Colin with a very high heel. Now there is an enormous jump at the top of this men's route that could be coming up here. He's a couple of moves away from it though. Resting, looking chill up there. And look, that crimp, tiny.
Oh, very nice.
Well, Colin is 2 moves away from the top of this lead route for the men. Second to last hold there on your screen. And look how chill he looks. Barely breathing.
I mean, he looked the same way the whole route. Really impressive.
Yeah, never really a moment. You said cutting loose, but looking in control when he did it.
Absolutely, yeah.
And he's still up there resting. He had a look down at the time that the athletes can see. It's pointing right up at him. He knows he's got a moment to rest. But this jump is committing. Big fling.
Wow, no doubt.
Easy from Colin. Bucket jug to finish. You have to quick that final. Quick draw.
Very
Colin
nice.
Duffy is our first top of the afternoon. That was a bit of a masterclass from that young man. He was still at school when he did the Olympics. There was a video out. We jokingly...
He was still a child.
He was still a child. We jokingly talking about him doing school holidays to the Olympics, you know. Like, just... Most people go to a beach. He went to the Olympics. All right, well, Colin, great from him. Still not breathing hard. And there is Josh Larson, Team USA coach. Fist bumping one of an occasional IFSC photographer there, Slobodan, who is actually here on holiday, fun fact. Why not?
What else would you do?
What else would you do? And there you can see everyone, you think they provide some kind of a chair, but at the moment everyone is down on the concrete having a few picnics. There's a boulder mat people are sitting on, I can see. There are the chairs for the athletes at the back. So yeah, a bit of a festival atmosphere here. It'll be like this
Yeah,
in
I think
Chamonix.
the organizers did a great job turning a parking lot into a really cool venue.
Yes, we've had a few parking lots as venues this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Czech Republic in Prague.
Yes.
That was definitely a car parking lot. Right, Sean Bailey comes out. He's had success here in Villars a few times. And then on the left from China, Yutong Zhang enters. Yutong Zhang's best result was second.
In Chamonix, I want to say, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, we'll check that one. And Sean Bailey, of course, he's won before.
Chamonix 2019.
There we go. Good knowledge, Malik.
I try.
So Team China is underway. They're coming through. Watch out for Team China in the speed tomorrow. Very, very strong speed team, challenging the Indonesians for dominance at the moment. Of course, Jilulo, excellent boulderer. She didn't make it through. Well, I don't know if she was actually here, Jilulo. I don't know if I saw her. She was here. So she's not making it through to semis. And look at Sean Bailey there, silhouetted from our drone. He's under the overhang, and it's a good shot to show how steep this wall is. Most lead walls are kind of featured like this. You get a more vertical bit at the bottom and then an overhanging section in the final head wall. But the head wall here in Villars is big, and it's not that vertical. It's still overhanging.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, the overhang here starts super early too. It's a little bit shorter. It feels shorter than other World Cup walls.
Yeah, occasionally they change walls, but this one stayed the same for a while. All right, Sean Bailey makes the clip off the purple pinch. Bumps into the jibs, cuts loose like Colin did. Sean, certainly a character on the scene. Oh,
Whoa, wow. Wow, that left hand totally missed, and really good recovery.
Right, so a bit of a moment from her. And psychologically, again, I mean, as a coach, you deal with psychological stuff, I'd imagine, a bit. Moves like that when you have a moment down low, how do you teach the athletes to sort of put it behind them? Do you have those conversations where you're like, look, you just have to move on?
I mean, I don't think she's going to think of like, oh, like, you know, maybe after. Maybe when, like, coming down, she's going to doubt whether that affected her up higher. And maybe that's why she's resting right now. But that's a good exercise of like, okay, you missed it, you made it, you probably exerted a little bit more energy than you should have. So try and get some back by resting a little bit there.
Right, she goes through.
Especially, I think it's the best hold on the whole route.
Yeah, at least it is a jog they go to. Sean cutting loose, getting the heel in, looking as smooth as Colin did. A little micro shake out here. Great shot. That is Yutong. It's that left hand, I think. You can always hear Team USA shouting. Lots of come on Sean's from the audience as he enters the crux here. What is he going to do with that right foot? I missed how Colin did this section.
You know, I was going to say the same thing. Oh, nice. Oof.
Slips, yeah.
That pushed him. That foot pushed him out a little bit too much. So the foot went up. So his butt kind of came back out of the wall a bit.
Yeah, the men's scoreboard, we'll have a look at it during the cleaning break, I think, but it's going to be very close around those holds.
There's going to be lots of countbacks.
Yeah, countback is when we go to the qualifying round. The athletes have to be on it right from quali. So often we do see countback counting. Yintong Zhang rests underneath. She's got the clip in, but a big move to come off that left crimp. Gets it in, and then she's jumping over to the green.
Very nice.
Yeah, left hand on the jib. Nice and smooth from her so far. Oh, just with the left shoulder.
Come on, up, up, up.
Snatches through and falls again. So both men and women have a pretty specific cruxy area on their routes. So the athletes swap around once more. We've got just one man and one woman to come before our cleaning break now. Stefan Schretz from Austria and Manon Healy from France. Good to see Manon back. Again, another one of our specialists in terms of lead. And more than capable of making the finals here this evening. The reset is really using all of the real estate available on that wall. I'm just looking at it. They've twisted the routes around.
Yeah, I mean, you want to get a specific number of moves. So interestingly, the men's route is exactly 40 moves. The women's is 48. Because of the combined in burn, I think they were testing a little bit too in terms of the setters. A few of the setters are going to be here also will be in burn. So for the combined lead route, it has to be 40 moves. Right, those are the scoring holds. It could be a few extra, and then the first few holds wouldn't count. But ideally, it'll be 40 moves, and every move counts. So I wonder if they were kind of testing that a little bit today.
Yeah, I like that rule change because when we, the combined format has developed a bit over the last year and a half or so, and there was definitely a time, in Munich, where the first quarter of the route didn't count in terms of scoring, which I did not like as much.
Yes,
so
a huge disadvantage to the boulderers.
Absolutely. So that has been tweaked a bit. All right, Stefan is climbing very quickly. He's just powering his way up. Manon Healy a little slower on the left, taking her time. Stefan has some of the biggest shoulders in climbing, I swear. He's enormous. When you walk up to that man, he's just gorilla-like in his movements. He's just got huge arms. You can see they're stretching out. And Manon Healy is into the jump. Let's see how she does this. She's experienced enough. 29 years old, been on the circuit for a while. 19th.
Very nice.
Yeah, nice jump from her. Yeah, 19th in Innsbruck. Stefan locks the right
really
heel.
good pace. I like his pace.
Yeah, pace is always so tricky to judge, isn't it? And it also, for me, changes throughout the season. In Innsbruck, we get a lot of people who are more in boulder shape, just climbing everything very, very quickly. And then they tend to slow down as their endurance comes back throughout the season.
Well, there is.
Stefan not really looking for any kind of an E-bar under there, just continues through.
He adjusted his feet really nicely. Where Jesse fell, Stefan just adjusted his feet to drop his left foot down to the lower volume, which kept him in a little bit more, where Jesse popped with the feet because they were too high for him.
Stefan clips up high, and Manon Healy is working her way towards the crux for the women. Stefan locks off that left crimp, and now he's got to do this throw to the right. Oh, he goes left hand.
Wow, need to switch feet. Draw. Oh.
Pops the right.
That I think that was a mistake. Maybe he was too pumped to do the cross. So at least he gets the score for that move. Maybe he would have just got a plus instead if he did it the proper way.
Oh, Manon misses the jump. Wild swing from her as she comes down. All right, well, that signals the halfway point of our competition. We'll check the results in a sec, see who's on the top spot. More athletes to come, of course, as Manon returns to the ground. Real commitment from her on that jump.
Yeah, I think her, maybe get a little bit higher, like bend the arms a little bit more. It seemed like her left hand popped as she went with the right hand. When she bent the right hand, it kind of pulled her off the left.
All right, well, the route setters are there on the front. They'll have a clean, but while they're doing that, let's look at the current scoreboard. Colin Duffy, he's got a top. He's in first place at the moment. His teammate Sean Bailey, Taisai Homer, Luca Pottinger, Jules Marshland, Hamish MacArthur, Neo Monchois, and Stefan Schretz. That is our current top 8. Expect things to change around, though. Paul Gemft out of the finals for sure, as is Yuval Shemela, and everyone else coming after this on the results will not get through, as we can see, but the names still to come, some big ones. Alex Magos, Yufai Pan, and then everyone from Japan down towards the bottom. Masahiro Higuchi, Sorato, of course, the overall boulder champion for 23, down at the very bottom. Adam Ondra, who looked good, a very informed Jakob Schubert, who looked powerful, and then Toby Roberts in the top 3. Yoshiyuki Ogata, and then Satono Yoshida. So that's what's to come. And for the women, Hélène Génicourt climbed high, 34. Puts her in the top spot. Vita Lucan, Luka Rakovitz, Yitong Zhang, and Manon Healy, Lucia Dorfel, and Ryu Nakagawa, and Oriane Berton making up our current top 8. Lynn Vandermeer just outside, 28 compared to 29 plus. That's the difference at the moment for the finals. Lana Skusek after that in 10th. And then again, we start to see the athletes to come. Annie Sanders will be out. Elnaz not making it. Good to see her though in Seoul Sat. And then big names coming up. Suki Tani, that young athlete coming through. Mia Krampel from Slovenia can pull out moments of magic. Molly Thompson-Smith on her comeback from injury. And down at the bottom, Team USA come in. Brooke Rabatou and Natalia Grossman. Jessie Piltz, who got a medal last week in Innsbruck. And Janja Garnbret will finish things off. All right, well, Malik, I said I wanted to talk about appeals because it fascinates me. Yes. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, well, this might lead into it. So I'm not sure why, but Yutong was scored 33 plus. Now she's on 31. So I'm not sure if she had a 33, now she scored 31.
Okay, well, explain this a bit, because sometimes it could be a judge making a decision, but often you guys, you coaches, you're appealing things as the competition goes, and that's almost part of your job, is to look at other people climbing, see where they might have made something that can be used after. So what is an appeal, first of all?
So appeal is something that an athlete who's just, usually in bouldering you can appeal as an athlete if you're on the mat, but mostly it's coaches that kind of think the judging wasn't done fairly to their athlete or to another athlete. So there's 2 types of appeals you can do. You can do an appeal for your own athlete, or you can do what we call a negative appeal, which is against another athlete from another federation. And that's just saying that this athlete wasn't judged based on the rules. The rule says that you have to. So I really don't know what happened with Yutong, but let's say Yutong went on a bolt, right, with her foot or something. Then I would appeal that her score should stop there, wherever she had that hold, because of the fact that she used something she shouldn't have used, okay. Or what I'm assuming, I can't remember now, I'm sorry, I apologize, but it could be that she didn't clip, let's say, the draw, and the only possible spot to clip was from hold 31, so it would be her last move.
Okay, so you see something you think needs to be appealed, you fill in a form, and then you give it to the judge and hope for the best?
Yeah, I mean, you fill a form, but you have to reference a specific rule in the rule book, and the rule book is really long now.
Yes, it is.
Compared to, I think, like, I was talking to one of the IFSC officials, and he was talking about, back in the 90s where the rule book was 4 pages. I think it's like 80 pages now. So you have to reference a specific rule. You have to do it like immediately, depending on the situation. If it's a scenario where the athlete needs to climb again, in lead, that doesn't happen very often. It could be that, hey, the belayer pulled them tight, let's say, and affected their, it impeded their movement, so we can appeal that. Or if there's like a technical wet hold or a hold that spun or something like this. In bouldering, there's more scenarios where it could affect a climber getting back on the wall, so you have to do it within a 5-minute period where they're resting. But if it's just a scoring change, then you can do it until the results are official. They have 5 minutes past that. So at the end of the competition, there's usually there was an info board. Now it's on the IFSC official WhatsApp group chat that they would post the results and say, here are the results. We have 5 minutes to appeal. And then you have time to place your appeal, say, okay, I think my athlete should have given the plus. You can see that he used hold 22 and going to hold 23, so he should get 22 plus. Then they would look at the video in the back of the athlete climbing. This would be the jury president. And then they either agree with you or not. If they disagree, then you lose your appeal. And if they agree, then they would change the scoring. And then either way, they would publish the results and say, okay, like, results are final. If any change in scoring happened, then those 5 minutes kind of restart, just in case another federation has a different appeal. But you cannot appeal against a decision based on an appeal. So if I appeal that, hey, like, my athlete got, again, we said 22 plus, okay, fine. You can't go ahead after that and appeal against this. No, he shouldn't have got this, and it's final.
So you can't appeal an appeal?
Exactly. Okay. You can't appeal against an appeal decision.
So someone like yourself, and you said you're the only coach for Canada, that's a lot, because some teams have multiple coaches, and they can, some of them can concentrate on filming, some can concentrate on appeal. You have to do everything.
Yeah.
It's tough. But it must be tough.
It is. I mean, it is. Sometimes you rely on other coaches. That's why the tablets are really important, because you can replay a lot of stuff. You look at, I have a few coaches that I would trust with more information. I would ask for their opinion. If I have athletes that are not in the round and they're watching, I'd ask if they saw anything, what their opinion was. My first World Cup actually was 2015 in Toronto. We had 31 Canadian athletes competing. This used to be when the quotas were a little bit different. So we had 31 athletes. At one point, I had 8 of the 10 athletes. There was a bouldering World Cup in Toronto. I had 8 athletes climbing at the same time. And the Wi-Fi went down. So, so trying to even take a look at all of that, so that was a very good learning experience for me.
Well, thank you for explaining that. And it is worth pointing out the judges get access to every camera angle we have. They get the access from the Obsessed media crew who run the media at the events. They get judges' angles. They get everything. And they are very... They take it seriously. Now, we're going to have a look at Colin Duffy, how he got through, because we missed this move. Well, I certainly missed it.
That's already passed.
It's a bit higher than what we wanted to see, but let's watch his top. This is his top, this huge jump. He had himself set up, but this is definitely worth watching, because this is a good moment. He took his time, rested his way through it, really set himself up. Shaking out with that right hand. He knew it was a big move. He knew he had time. And this is the only top that we've seen so far. Of course, lots of athletes to come, so I have a feeling there'll be a few more for the men. Colin just shaking out easily into the right hand, and he got set up for this jump. Look how high his feet go, swinging around. Actually, he didn't go that high. It was only the angle I was at. Made the clip. And I think now we're hopefully going to have a look at the move we missed, which was how he got to that dish through the head wall section. Let's check it out. Oh, we'll maybe see it later, but right now we're going to wait as our next athlete's out. Mattia Pozzi from Austria, she will come, and Nikolai Uznik is out and about. He'll be climbing, and this will be his personal best. And we're just waiting for our athletes. They'll be getting ready in the background. You can see the clock down there, 6 minutes. That's how long the athletes get to climb each route. Time not being a factor so far. No one running out of time. Jesse might have if he hadn't fallen, but he fell low down. All right, let's have a look now and see this Colin Duffy move. Yeah, so this is where we're interested in. So he does this section. So far, a few did this one. Right hand cross through, and now the left. But what I'm interested in is this next series of moves. So he's chalking up, got the left hand. And now what did he do? So he got the heel like everyone else did. Very high, though, with that heel. And watch this right foot, because this is what I'm interested.
Which is... Oh, he totally let go.
Oh, he got a high right foot. Okay. Now, when Colin did that, it looked super easy, but everyone has struggled to bring that right foot up.
Yeah, so Sean thought of getting his right foot up, but he kept his heel and he had his foot on the crimp, whereas Colin fully let go and got his foot way up. That's really nice.
Yeah, that was good to see again, because I certainly missed that on the broadcast. And that high splits move, I saw that because I winced, and then he clipped it in. And from then on, he was just... Colin seemed to be on a different level this afternoon.
He looked super relaxed the whole route through. Very confident, very relaxed.
It's very impressive, right? And we're seeing this in slow motion all the way as he gets to the top. And we're just waiting. The route has been cleaned, and once again, I think we'll see this. And this was him resting, looking down. Check the clock. The clock's face upwards towards the athlete, so they can always keep an eye on that time. No ladies coming anywhere near to the head wall, really. I don't think yet. As the women's route still to be topped. Of course, we have a certain Janja Garnbret coming out, who she came back from injury at the beginning of the season. Let's watch this again from Colin. He made that jump look so casual. Left hand on the dual text, makes the top. Good work from him. So that was Colin Duffy. There is Yannick Kruder with some bright pink hair, sporting some sunglasses. I don't think he knows he's on camera, but he's looking. Oh, he does know he's on camera. In fact, there's a giant screen of his face he's just seen. Yannick not making it through. All right, next series of athletes. Nikolai Uznik, his PB in terms of lead competitions. Of course, he won the combined in Munich for the European Championships over last summer. And then Mattia Pozzi for Austria. So two teammates together. And we just came from their home World Cup in Innsbruck.
Mattia even competed at the European Games, I think, last week also.
Yeah, of course, that event taking place during the paraclimbing here in Villars. Lots of comps all through the summer. As she gets underway. So second half of our final. My name is Matt Groom. I'm joined here by Malak Talem, who's the Canadian head coach, offering us some really fascinating insights into athletes' mentality and also just the role of coaches during these things. Because it's, I don't think people realise how much you guys do. All right, Nikolai reaches up, makes the clip. And Mattea is on this move. Easy commitment from her.
Yes, perfect.
So for these athletes, we're halfway through the comp now. They presumably won't have been in warm-up from 9:30. They can come a bit later, or do they have to be isolated?
So you have to be in ISO by 11. That's when isolation closes. You can choose to get there anytime as long as you report in there before the closing of isolation.
And isolation, as it sounds, you're isolated. There's no phone.
There's no phone, no Wi-Fi stuff, you know. Even your headset for your music, it needs to be wired. It can't be Bluetooth capable. So no communication with the outside world until you're done your competition.
Yeah, and that's to avoid teammates telling other teammates, coaches telling people sequences. So we're trying to make it as fair as possible. Right now, both Austrians doing well. Nikolai rests. I've never seen a man fight pump as hard as he did during the European Championships. He was so pumped, he basically got cramp in his forearms.
Oh, nice high step by Mattea on the flat hold on the right.
Quick clip as well. Everyone else seems to rest for a moment there. She just made it happen. She is looking very, very good here as she crosses through with the right. And now things get hard. This left hand move out to some block jib. She makes it.
Very nice.
Crosses in. And then that huge sloping green
Nikolai's
dish.
a little bit struggling there.
Yeah, and we lose him. Still PB for him.
Wow. Come on.
Tia is unreal here. She's about to enter the head wall. Now this is this patch. You can see the blue. It's kind of like a plastic surface. It's no text. It's to prevent a knee bar, and it's brand new. Oh,
wow.
She falls. Yeah, and that's something the route setters are playing with for the first time, and I have a feeling that's going to be used a lot more.
She must be happy right now.
That could be a finals place for her. I'll have to wait and see.
Really good performance.
Brilliant from her. So Mattia Pozzi, job done. Nikolai did well. More of a boulderer. He will leave with a PB. We won't see him in finals.
But again, for Nikolai as a boulderer, that's, I think that's mission accomplished for this comp. But he might not be thinking that at the moment, but maybe after tomorrow or something, he might.
Yeah, 23 is a real chess game in terms of like points when you compete.
No, for sure.
And world champs, of course, double points there as well.
Double points, yes. Yeah.
So again, that's another reason why everyone is focusing on that. That's coming up at the beginning of August, so a couple of weeks. And it feels like all year we've been ticking down to it.
It feels very close right now.
I'm nervous, Malik. I really am.
Yeah, it's, I have to go to Briançon after Chamonix, and then training camp to prep, and then we go straight to Bern. Yeah, so it feels like tomorrow.
It really does. It's coming soon. Well, Alex Megos is out on stage. You heard the crowd's reaction. And Salome Romain on the left for France, one of our shorter athletes here competing. She has a very different style as well.
Yeah, but it's really cool. She's a finalist before, obviously, so it's really nice seeing that for shorter athletes that are watching. There is hope.
Absolutely. I mean, as a shorter climber myself here, I'm
For
very
sure.
happy. But it's true. I mean, look, we always chat about height, but the fact is it's just different ways of doing the move. It's a problem. And
Absolutely.
you have to work it out.
Yeah. Mei Kotaki was also another example of someone who would be in finals and no excuses.
Look at that skip up from Salome there. Salome, she just a little jump up, and of course she'll fit into different sections better, and look how comfortable she looks standing up here. And Alex is underway. Alex, a medalist last week, not last week, whenever it was in Innsbruck. I lose all track of time.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. God, it goes quick, doesn't it? And you can just see Alex Megos' foot there appearing on the left screen. That's how close the athletes are in that section. No chance of taking each other out, though, don't worry. Oh, Salome
Come on. Oh, my goodness.
Just holds the left. And I think that was experience. She knew it would be one of those jumps where she just has to go, and managed to fling over to the left. All right, so Salome holding on with the right hand, reaching up. Alex Megos cruising through the blue volumes. Underneath, and Salome fingertips on that undercling and makes the clip as Alex goes upwards. So Alex enjoying being back in his natural element, I think.
Yeah, I think he prefers lead for sure.
Yeah, he always jokes that he never makes boulder finals and that no one expects him to.
I mean, I think he would expect it for himself, but
I mean, considering he's climbed, what,
I think it was his
plus,
first. Yeah, like, I mean, I think he's never made a final in
I don't think he has for Boulder.
in bouldering, so which is a little bit shocking, but
this is where he excels. He's done well here in Villars before. I remember him, I think it was last year, climbing through the mist in the finals. You couldn't see him on the wall.
we had some of those yesterday too.
Yeah. And he is easily and quickly into the head wall, but this is the move that only Colin has really done. Alex with the left hand up. Watch the right foot though. He drops it down, gets a toe.
So he has a different foothold there that he used. And that worked for him.
Delicate there. Alex is blinking, you miss it, and he's through here. Super fast from him. Salome as well is on the hard crux.
So let's see the jump here for Salome, where the first jump kind of, you know, is she going to hesitate now because of how the first one went? No hesitation. Wow. Very nice.
Straight in, yeah. Psychologically put that behind her. And Alex finds the same rest that Colin did. And there's another one coming up for him, but he's going to drop that move.
It feels like a blind jump to the side there for the guys.
Yeah, I think you are right. And you can see he was disappointed, not pumped when he came down. So more of a mistake, but he's second place. Salome is resting. Looking really good at the moment as she nears the three-quarter mark. But breathing hard. She's got this launch out left, gets it. Thumb underneath, which is so awkward, twists the shoulder in a nasty way.
Wow, come on, gotta jump a little bit high to get to the next hold. Yeah.
Oh, she hit it, couldn't hold the sloper. And she will have to wait and see if that's enough. And Alex as well. Both of them currently into a finals place. Few to go though. Natsuki Tani will be up next, and Yufei Pan from China will come in a second. So that's our next two. Do you train speed athletes as well, Malik, or are you a lead bowler?
No, Libor Rosa, who used to compete for the Czech Republic, is our national speed coach. And I'm very happy that he's with us.
And in terms of Canadian speed climbers, obviously speed is now its separate discipline in the Olympics. Have you got potentials for that, or is that program being developed?
So we have, so for this weekend, for example, we have 3 athletes competing for the male and 1 for the female. And I mean, you know, our times are getting better and better, so we have time till the OQS. It's not about now, it's about, you know, April next year, so there's lots of time. That said, you know, our athlete at the last comp, Michael, set like a new PB, so he's on his way up. Our other athletes too, you know, it's just, yeah, I mean, it's interesting. You look and you think, okay, like, where's everyone now? But in reality, it's like, where's everyone in 8 months? So, you know, maybe I'm a little bit more relaxed than other coaches. I don't know.
But we'll find out in 8 months.
We will find out if I'm very wrong.
All right, Natsuki Tani, there she is, getting the shoes strapped on the left. She approaches the wall, and Yufei Pan on the right. Yufei's PB is second. So one certainly on the podium radar. And Natsuki Tani climbs quickly through these green stack volumes. Look a bit harder than it actually is through the bottom there. No problem for anyone so far. Natsuki Tani's got third place before. Yufei using this 360 method that is the intended beater, although hardly anyone has really used it.
I mean, you know, with the rope, it's really hard. Like, if you can avoid it, you don't want to do it for sure.
Yeah, you don't want to get tangled up in that thing.
Let's see Natsuki on this move here. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, no problem. You can really see that difference in height means you either have to catch it with the left hand and lock it off, or you can get the right hand in.
Exactly.
That seems to be the big difference between. Well, the audience are packed into our stadium now. Everyone's here watching, enjoying. Natsuki Tani on the crimps that she really enjoys. Gets the heel locked in and comes up, not even looking at her left hand there. And Yufei Pan is having to fight a bit. A couple of spots of rain on our commentary window coming through. But as we found out yesterday, rain doesn't seem to affect this wall too much. And I don't think
they've done a really good job sealing it from the back, and also the tent where the athletes are waiting is fully covered all the way to the stage, so they should still be dry.
Yufei Pan grimacing as he brings the hands in. He got the heel toe cam as well. Drops the feet underneath, matches on the underclink. Natsuki Tani drops down.
He's fighting.
Yeah, he really is. He's close
Come
to
on,
the
you
edge. That flick of the left hand as well. I think he might struggle to do this next move here. He's chalking up. Gets the knee.
He's trying.
I feel like if he can't get a knee rest here, he's in trouble. But he does get one in.
Nice.
It's not the best, but it might be enough. Also keep an eye on Natsuki Tani on the left. About to do another jump. Yufei Pan, I think that has saved him. Well, we'll find out.
Yes.
But gets a good rest. One of those moments perhaps born of desperation. Sort of like, I'm pumped, I'm gone. Oh, a knee bar, you know?
Yeah, sometimes the energy you waste trying to get into a knee bar, and if it doesn't work, it's game over.
Well, he's got something back. Look at him as he flies through. And Natsuki Tani as well made the jump. Look at the flexibility of Natsuki as well. Double heels. All right, bit of a chess game here from both of these athletes. Yufei Pan needs to do the right hand through. Makes the pinch work. And he'll get set up for this tricky foot sequence. Alex did it differently from Colin, so we know there's at least 2 ways through here.
But definitely drop the heel and find the right foothold is the key.
And he hasn't done that yet, so this could be a problem for him.
Ball.
Into the toe, but this is where everyone slipped, and he does the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, we know how not to do it. And Natsuki Tani has been here for a while, finding a good rest on those crimps, shaking out. Now she makes way into this awkward shoulder move. Look how her shoulder rotates when she gets the thumb in. So gets one hand, but then drops back down. Oh no, she's sorry. I thought she had the camera angle there. I thought she was holding it.
No, it's gonna be a tough move matching. We saw with Salome. She struggled getting the match.
Yeah, you can see the fingerprints.
And it's an open-handed hold. Let's see what she does.
Oh, she's not using the thumb.
Wow.
Which actually I think is maybe the way to do that.
That really helped her. Like, she swung way past, so she was able to keep on with. Whereas with Salome, she stayed on the right side of the hold, so when she had both hands on there, everything pulled her off.
All right, well, she enters the head wall, that metal coping. Looking pretty chill still out there, very calm. She looks down, bumping the left foot up. On the green slope as she goes, now having to be a little bit snatchy for this clip.
So she's at the high point now.
So she's in first position, or about to be first position for Natsuki Tani. Shakes out, finds another good rest. She's got about a minute on the clock left, which there is a lot of climbing to be done on this head wall as well. I think it's a minute. I'm trying to see the clock myself.
You know, I just got new glasses, but it doesn't seem to be helping. I think 47 seconds.
There we go. Both of us blind in the commentary box.
In our defense,
it's a long way away and very
it's a
small.
long way and very off angle for us. It's not meant for us right now.
No. Well, Natsuki's into the crimps after all those slopey moves. Will her fingers work? She needs to get her left heel in.
30 seconds left.
This, she might get timed out here if she can hold on, but she falls before that, misses the crimp. But that is a high point for Natsuki Tani. Could be in the finals for her. Back down to the ground. And the Japanese coaches with a smile. See some speed climbers in the back. John Brosler there, getting ready. Best moustache in the business. He will prepare himself. And the athletes, we're talking about where they come in from the warm-up area. That's the driveway on the right. You can see some minibuses waiting. I don't know why I always feel the need to describe the arena, but I just feel if you're not here, like we spend our lives walking around these places, you know, and for us it's ingrained, but for people at home, I just like to give them a little idea of what's going on.
But if they didn't believe that it's in the middle of nowhere, they can believe you now.
There we go, exactly. A little climbing enclave amongst the trees here in Villars. Mist starting to roll in up high on the mountains, isn't affecting us down here. A bit of rain, you can see a rain spot there on the camera. Not really forecasted today, looked like a beautiful day, so Switzerland just messing with our heads a bit. Sarato Anraku will be out in a minute, and this man really has such potential, doesn't he,
He's having an amazing season, yeah, for sure.
16 years old.
Super young. Yeah, wow. It's it was cool to see him win his first World Cup, and we'll see what he can do with lead.
Yeah, he's very handy on a lead rope. I mean, actually, from talking to the Japanese coaches, they didn't expect him to be as good at bouldering as he was. It was kind of like they put him in as like a sort of, go for it.
Yeah, it's... I don't know. I mean,
Are you jealous?
They're lucky
of
to
this
have him.
Japanese team?
They are lucky to have. They have different problems than my problems right
That's
now.
true. That is true. Well, Molly Thompson-Smith from Great Britain is on the left. Her second semi-final in a row. Coming back from injury and looking fit at the moment. And there is Sarato as he works his way upwards. Yeah, I think that's a fair point about different problems. Every coach you seem to, I talk to on the circuit, they have a different set of issues. It might be funding, it might be too many. You know, there's things. Everyone's having to deal with different stuff. And it's the same with the athletes.
I mean, if you're expecting to come into a perfect situation as a coach, you're in the wrong business. It's, you know, there's always challenges, and how you adapt to them is what makes you good at it.
Well, Molly goes left. She's enjoying being back on a rope. I love having her in the commentary box just because she's one of the most intelligent climbers.
She actually climbed real nice yesterday. There was a jump where everyone was falling. Like if you saw the scores of 20 plus, it was a jump from hold 19 and you gotta hit 20 and 21, and a lot of people misjudge it. And Molly was able to just go up and stop on hold 20 and then jump to get 21, which is really gutsy to try.
Yeah, she has that ability. She's such a natural climber. Climbs outdoors a lot. This is where she broke her ankle. A lovely story that her coach specifically told her not to go outside climbing, which she did, and then broke her ankle. So good to see her returning. I'm laughing because I know Molly. It was obviously a horrible injury and we wish her the best, but yeah, it's good to see her back. Sarato making quick work here. Molly drops the knee, crosses under, steady through the bottom.
Nice.
Sarato breathes out as he reaches up high, gets the heel locked in underneath.
Oh, that's a good clip from Molly too. She clipped before she got over.
Yeah, you look at this route and I think, you know, this is a kind of a Vita Lucan-esque route. It's a Molly route with these powerful sequences. She holds the swing. Good lock-off strength from her. But those elbows are starting to go out. Drops down now. Tsuchi Kitani spent about a minute, I think, resting on this next hold, so we know it's possible to get something back here. She needs to get there first.
Get up, 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 up. Oh, wow. Okay, no need to go up.
Sarato as well is looking very calm as he gets a high right toe in.
Those are the moves sometimes that give you confidence, though. Like, you know, if you hit a hold and you think, oh, it might be a struggle, and then you feel good on it, it kind of gives you a boost. Come on, Molly.
Gritting her teeth, drops down, can't hold the sloper. We'll wait and see. All right, Molly is down, and Sarato, though, he's through that move as well, but decides not to make the clip. So I don't know if he's pumped or just wants to adjust. Now he makes it. Gets the left clip in. Crosses through with the left hand. And Sarato will figure this out, but he will get an opportunity to rest, as he has done throughout. There is the scoreboard, good to see. So Colin Duffy still leading the way, and Sarato third place at the moment, 36, but he'll get a higher score now. Can he equal Colin's score? Remember, we're looking for our top 8, so Jules Marchand is down in the danger zone in 8th. My co-commentator is having a hay fever attack next to me, so if you hear sneezing, that's what it's about. And Sarato rests high up on the route. This is where Colin took his time as well. And now Sarato looking not pumped, shaking out, checks the clock. He's got time. I can't quite see the clock anymore, but he has lots of time. Will make this move. Hypes the crowd. Yes, Sarato. We don't often see that from him. A flick to the top, made it look casual. And he will now jump over Colin Duffy due to count back to the qualifier, because he qualified in a higher position. Yep. So 2 tops for the men. Sarata, you can almost see that Olympic medal. You know, there's some athletes that you can see coming, and he is one of those. You're like, you wouldn't bet against him at this point. You know, at this stage, obviously we're
definitely
miles out.
Definitely a favorite to qualify right now.
Yes, that's very diplomatic. Yeah, he's just a good all-rounder. You know, you see certain athletes who are good at the all-round side of competition. But as you said, it's at this point, everyone's just building up, and it's hard to tell. You know, part of my job is to create a bit of intrigue in this and also to spot which athletes are coming through. And certainly Sarato's one of those.
Definitely. I would say Toby is another one.
Yeah, those two standing out for the men at the moment. There is Team Japan.
Not to forget, like, Adam and Jakob.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, Adam Onder is certainly a contender. And Jakob Schubert, he's a gentleman who seems to pull something out of the bag on big events. So that World Champ's coming up soon will be interesting for him. He's climbing second to last. And the rain is now falling fairly heavily out there. Might make things a bit more humid, which could be interesting for the last couple coming out. Mia Krampel, she's an Olympian, and Masahiro Higuchi on the right will be climbing.
Mia yesterday had the rope wrapped around her body with the jump. There was like a 360 and a toe hook move in the one qualifier, and she kind of went around the rope the wrong way and ended up wrapped around. It was a little bit scary.
Oh, I didn't see it. Did she untangle herself, or did she fall into it?
Oh, no, she kind of, you know, held on with the one hand, kind of managed the rope with the other around her feet. It was...
Yeah, anyone who's experienced rope burn before, and in fact, you might see if Toby's wearing shorts, he's still got the scars from a big rope burn from Innsbruck, but it really hurts, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It's been a long time since I had one.
Yeah, it's something you want to avoid. So Mia luckily untangled herself from that one. Right foot out from Mia. Can easily get herself into a finals place, as can Masahiro on the right. Looks like he goes for this. Well, he's kind of doing the 360, but then decided to bring the foot up. I thought better of it.
Have to reach back.
Yeah, that clip, a bit out of his reach now. Mia makes the swing, but watch this for Masahiro. He's going to have to do quite an awkward clip. Well, he made it work, but definitely had to stick in a few extra moves for that. Snatches for that left hand. He'll look to match it and will be happy for the rest after that sequence. Not stopping for too long, though. Bumps up towards the jib. Keep an eye on Mia as well. Left heels in. Comes up to the crimpy part of the route. Certain athletes, Malik as well, you know, you will have watched Mia for such a long time on the circuit. It must be hard to sort of, do you have people you really admire in terms of styles? Obviously you have your athletes, but...
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, everyone has their favorites. You watch them during comps. Sometimes you watch them through training. Like I've been lucky to be able to join the Slovenians with lots of training events. And so it's, there's always, sometimes you gotta keep it a secret of who you admire, but sometimes it's hard to keep a secret.
Yeah, absolutely. I won't ask you that, don't worry. But there are some athletes, and I think often it comes down to style. You know,
wow, Mia didn't even match and flip. She just went straight to the crimp, feeling really good here.
Whoa, yeah, rotates that right foot through. It seems like a lot of athletes have refound this endurance. Like, I think the week in Innsbruck helped a lot of people.
Yes, yeah, you'll see the next couple comps leading up to the World Champs. That will definitely come up. The endurance will go up for sure. For a few, the bouldering season dictated, lack of endurance a little bit for the first couple events. And again, that's okay if your goal is the Olympics. You don't need to be in top shape right now.
Yeah.
Of course, it gives you more confidence if you're in shape, and maybe psychologically against other athletes. If you look super fit and Nice.
Oh, come on.
Nice,
Look,
Mia.
she held that cross. We also lost Masahiro there. His right hand slipping down. He looked in trouble before he fell, and he was. Yeah, Mia's cross there. How she held that. That was accuracy. Oh, but she fumbles the clip. Now, I'm not sure if she dropped that because she knew she was about to fall and needed another shakeout, or if she fumbled it, but she's
Just a little bit better position. There we go.
That's better from her. Did it with the heel. Checks the clock just to make sure. And Mia climbing her way towards a finals place. Tricky moves to come though as she turns the lip. Into the dish-like sloper with the thumb pressed in, shaking out the left hand.
You can see how bad that dish is, and that's why they put that thumb, just to make it a little bit better.
It's amazing what the difference a thumb catch makes. It just changes everything. High right foot, but she's got to be accurate. It's in the midst of a slippy surface, pressing with the shoulder, and she falls. Perhaps slightly climbing herself into a corner there with that press, but she comes down and
I think she has nothing left.
No. I don't know if it's a combination of exhaustion and disappointment or what that was.
For sure.
That was, you could tell exactly what she was feeling just from her back then in that move. All right, Mia Crampful is done. Masahiro Higuchi is done as well, and that's done well for Mia. She's in third place at the moment.
So this is another scenario where now, if it matters later for finals, like do you appeal for a plus or not?
So this could be, as a coach,
Yep.
you would look at that. Would you appeal something like that, do you
I mean, if it makes you go to finals, absolutely. Even if it's maybe 20% possible, you know, it didn't look like she looked like she was falling, right? And then she brought her hand. Now her body was moving up the whole time towards the hold because she's pressing. So why not give the JP another look at it and make them make that tough decision other than just not appealing?
You can answer no comment to this question, but do you ever put in appeals just to sort of do that, just to be like, hey, look, you know, there could be something?
No, I'll...
You can say, look, I know it happens sometimes. As in, like, you know, you talk, you not you, but coaches can, you, Malik, but coaches can, you know, you play a bit of mind games.
I try not to. I don't think I've ever appealed thinking I'm not going to win the appeal. I've only lost 3 appeals in
wow, that's good.
8 years, 9 years now. So I don't really, I try not to appeal things I don't think. But I've been in scenarios where, you know, other federations have appealed against our athletes just to freeze them or mess with them. But
yeah, it's an interesting...
It's as long as things are within the rules, then that's fine. There's a chance that we can change the rules to minimize number of appeals, for example, and that could work. But
no, it's interesting. I think sport, you have to try things. It's in the rules. You go for it. Right, Shion Omata on the men's side of things, and then Nanoha Kume on the left.
There's been an incident where a coach appealed against their own athlete, just to give them. Going into semifinals, they're qualified. I won't say who, qualified super early, and the coach wanted to appeal to drop them to 17 so they can start earlier in the semifinal round and have better conditions.
I did not know that. That's a good story.
Yeah.
See, this is it. This is why I like having route setters in here occasionally. So you just learn some tricks.
We'll keep the names and federations a mystery.
Of course. If you want to bribe me, I'll let you know later on. Right, here we go. Nanoha Kume is swinging over to the left to make that look easy. And she's fairly inexperienced, but good to see her. And then on the right-hand side, Shion Omata.
Yeah, this is her first lead World Cup. She's only been in 1 Boulder World Cup and made semifinals in Hachioji.
Yeah, so Japan testing people out. It's like a sort of, they seem to play different teams at different events, trying to figure out who to select for what, who's good at what. They have options. Shion Omata is climbing well on the right, quickly through. His best result was 12th. Let me see that good shot of the left-hand crimp. I think it's very easy when you're watching these comps. that it looks easy, and then you get shots like that and you realise just how... And also the friction on these holes is bad. Every hole has bad friction. And Hakume crosses through with the left hand, unwinds into a big bump with the right. Chionomata.
This seems super relaxed for a first lead semifinal.
Yeah, how do they prepare themselves? I mean,
they have so many good athletes to train with.
Yeah, I guess it must be that. You're used to climbing next to the best. Yeah. Because sometimes we see athletes coming from the youth side who get a bit rabbit in the headlights, you know, a bit starstruck, but the Japanese team never seem to have that problem.
And there's lots of competition they have to go through in Japan, so they're, well prepared for that. Okay, let's see on the right.
Yeah, will he fall into the
Will
trap?
He drop that? But it looks like he's dropped. Yeah, there we go. Nice.
And he does like Colin Duffy did, but with a heel instead, and he should be okay now. He's got that. Makes the clip, and he'll sit on that heel for a while. I think he's one of the...
Whoa.
Oh, falls. All right, well, the scores are going to be very interesting soon because it's all going to be grouped around that crux. No Hakume underneath. Bumps up towards the crimp. Shakes out, gets the crimp. Looking a bit more pumped, though, and she does fall. And that will not be finals for her. She comes down.
She tried to skip the jump.
Interesting.
So she tried to go, so everyone else went out to the big 360. Right, and then did she miss a hold?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was more focused on the right side with...
No, it's fine. We'll have a look. I mean, she's out of the finals with that, but whatever sequence she did, it wasn't working. But you could see her getting pumped, so maybe that was the reason she did that. Wait and see. So, 8 athletes remaining now. Next up, we have a debutant, Neo Suzuki from Japan for the men, and that's our scoreboard on the right. So, danger zone is Zhang, 32 plus. You can see how closely grouped they are. Molly's up in 4th. Salemi Roman, she's still in. Helen Jenikor, Vita Lukan. Natsuki Tani, though, leading the way with 40 plus. And Lichka Rakovic will not make the final. She's in 9th place. Same score, but Countback will push her down out of that top 8. And for the men, Serato and Raku with the top. Same as Colin Duffy, but again, Countback did it. And in 8th is Luchka Potiga.
So I think she went from hold 29 to 32 and then tried to go to 31.
So she was skipping the move outright.
Yeah, I apologize. I was looking way more on the guy's side, so I might have missed it. But it looked like she tried to skip going to the big...
Yeah, I think you're right with
big
that.
hold, and went to 32, and then tried to go to 31, which is higher hold. But you're supposed to go way right first and then move left, and she went left instead of going right.
There you go. Good spot from Malik. Jane Kim, you saw, if you watched the beginning of the broadcast, a little interview I did with her, and I asked her why, if you missed it, I asked her why she returned from retirement. She said, I want to make my daughter proud, which was a lovely reason to come back to the IFSC, I thought.
I mean, her daughter can look at her 29 win, gold medals at home, and
I know she's nothing to prove, does she?
But absolutely nothing. I think she's amazing. She's had an amazing career. Whatever happens now it's fine. Like, it's extra, but I think she has no problem with her daughter being proud of her later.
No, exactly. But that was her reason for coming back. So, for the sake of her daughter, let's cheer on Jane Kim. And then on the right, Neo Suzuki, debutant, first one. He's just 18, so this will be a PB, whatever happens to him. Oh, but he has fallen very low. Belair getting almost caught out there, nearly joining him. So an early fall, and the first we've really seen a man
that's
fall.
really unfortunate.
Well, hopefully we can maybe get a replay of that moment. Came so quickly. We'll see it after. And Jane Kim made her jump matches. And she's resting. She's got some awesome coloured shoes on there as well, on the left. That's like a rainbow pattern. I haven't seen that before. That's really cool. For all you shoe geeks out there, I don't know. Let me know. Is that a new model or just a new colour scheme for Jane Kim? So she reaches up. There is the Korean team. not the most expressive of faces there. I think they'll be nervously watching. They're all gathered on the left, sunglasses on. Jane Kim, and everyone talks about Jane Kim's style. Malik, what is Jane Kim's style when people say it? What are we looking for? Is it just the way she moves, the flow she has?
Lead, meticulous, old school lead for sure. But I mean, even though like watching her with bouldering this season, I think she's doing fine in bouldering too. But you can see she's kind of like almost slow motion through some moves.
Yeah, there's a
right. Even the leg swing right now is like kind of controlled and slow.
There's an exercise that sometimes I've seen coaches do where they make their athletes pause before they put their foot on a hold for like 3 seconds so you'd be really accurate. It's like Jane's been doing that her entire life, you know, like every hold she just nails. There's no adjusting. Up to the left hand. Gets a heel in, big shoulder move as she'll make this clip, and that is that slow motion, just unhurried, relaxed. It's like she climbs like I think every climber would want to in their dreams, you know, just smooth.
She also doesn't match down low and flip.
And now she's eyeing at the jumper for the first time. We see Jane starting to struggle. Right hand just
Can't go
makes
slow
it.
on that move.
She had to, didn't she?
Yep, that's good.
She's made it through, and we'll want to find the rest that's coming up in a sec. Fingertips only, holding her.
Wow.
Jane needs a shake out here, doesn't she?
Yeah, and the clip now is she's going to have to bring that draw towards her a little bit.
So Jane Kim might have made a bit of an error here. She's looking to either to move on, I think, rather than make that clip. It's
she wouldn't get the move either way because it's impossible to clip after. I don't even know if it's going to be very. Yeah, see, she's swinging that clip.
This is very awkward from Jane. She, yeah, as you said, got the swing. You're allowed to do that. You can't hold the quick draw, but you can kick it, blow on it, whatever you want to get it moving. And she wants the swing, so it's closer to her.
There we go. Oh. So the one way to do it also is to bring it over on the other side of your knee and like bring the knee closer. It'll just stay there.
So it like lays over her knee. But it's too far and she can't reach down.
Man. Come on, Jane.
Oh, this is one of those moments every climber knows. When a clip is so close, so far away. Now she's looking to hook.
Come on,
she
come on,
can reach
there we
it.
go. That's it, that's it, that's it, that's it, that's it.
Oh, you can see what she was trying to trap it between the wall.
That should be the strategy. Oh my goodness, there we go.
Right,
okay.
Is it in? It is in. That's well done.
Sorry, the coach and me started panicking.
No, it's good. I started panicking. The climber and me started panicking there.
All right. Let's see if she has anything left now.
Yeah, because that would have cost her a huge amount.
For sure.
All right, Jane. She's resting, shaking out. And it's the most physical move probably coming up this match on the sloper. Gets the toe locked, can't, changes her mind.
Yeah, ideally you would switch feet and push a little bit. Wow.
How is she still there? Finally she goes. Yeah, tongue out straight away. That was a fight.
So this is an interesting situation where if she jumped, maybe she risks falling and would only get the move plus. Whereas because it's a matching hold, it's a double point. So because she hit it and held it, then she would get both points, right? So that's if she knew she was going to fall after that's a good strategy to get this hold. But I think she put herself in a disadvantage for actually moving past it because she was so stretched out.
All right, well, that was Jane's run.
So she should be scored at 36.
So we're just checking the scores as well here in the commentary box, having a little look. Yeah, currently she's up in 4th position. God, I would love Jane Kim to get into the final. No favourites, of course, but it would be good. Right. Next up, well, here are the results as we said it. So Serrato still leading the way. Down in 8th position, Luka Potijak. He's in the danger zone. That 32 plus proving problematic for everyone. Up to number 5, where Yufei Pan is. And for the women, we just said Jane Kim in 4th. Great climb from her. Vita Lucan, though, is going to be worried in 33 plus.
So Mattea Pozzi now is guaranteed finals.
Which is her first, I think. Hang on, we'll just check that. Good work from Mattea.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. 16 was her last best score. All right, Laura Rogera comes out. And she is another one who's going to have to work out different ways, possibly, through some of these jumps. We'll see.
And the 2 tops from the guys guarantee them finals as well for Colin and Sorato.
Awesome. So those 2 definitely in. Right, well, we're nearing the business end of our comp. There is Laura, and there is last week's gold medalist, Sasha Lehmann, who had this thing in his eyes when he walked into Innsbruck. I kind of I don't want to say I predicted it, but I knew he was in form. And even yesterday, he climbed so well. It's like he's turned a corner at the moment.
Well, I'm sure he has good memories from Villars by winning here.
Yeah, he likes this stadium and this wall. All right, Laura will go towards the first jump. It'll be interesting to see whether she tries. I mean, we watched Annie do that feet first method at the very beginning of the comp. She has a similar style to Laura, so we'll have to see. But Laura, maybe with the experience to know it is the jump. But already Laura's having to fight, wrestle her way through here. And this is the move we were talking about. She'll get the clip in first, whatever. Keep watching Sasha. He's about to enter the 360. Laura with the toes. I think she's going to go for the jump. Gets herself set. She is. No problems from Laura. Good work. And Sasha hangs off.
It looked for a second that her leg was wrapped around the rope on the left.
All right, well, she hangs off casually. She can rest on the smallest of crimps, so this jug she's on will feel great for her. Moves on quickly. No point hanging around if you're not pumped. And Sasha, now we have seen an early fall here, but he gets it. Yeah, Sasha's one of those climbers where mental headspace seems to play such a part. Sometimes he's on, sometimes he's not. So far, so good.
So far, so good, for sure.
And the Swiss crowd would love to see Sasha go through as well. Big crowd favourite, obviously. Laura on the crimps, locks it off, looking casual. Left hand through. Sasha makes the clip. Gets the right heel in and she'll rock up on it, getting lots of support. And she's coming towards the second jump as well. Sasha with a very low left foot there. Bit of a foot pot from Sasha.
It's a fight right now, for
Laura
sure.
goes on the jump, and a huge swing from her as she tries to right herself in the air.
Come on, Sasha.
Still swinging. Sasha's going to have to fight for his finals place if he wants one.
Come on, Sasha.
This cross-through move. Falls on it.
He just needed to sit a little bit better on that toe on the right, but you know, it looked like he was a little bit pumped.
Well, the drone comes through the trees. Careful, careful. That's the valley down below. That's the journey we were talking about earlier on when you come from the valley floor up to Villars, up the windy road. There is Team Switzerland. Yeah, we'll have a look at scores, but yeah, they would have wanted a bit more from Sasha there.
Yeah, I think to have a chance, you need to get to that point where everyone else was falling by the dish, ideally past that.
Let's have a look at Laura's jump, shall we? Because it was a huge swing from her. So this was just before. She got the clip in. Out with the right Gaston. Set herself up. And let's see what she did, because all I saw was her wildly going through the air. So let's find out. Was that left hand she was struggling on, and then this jump, big out. Something maybe popped a bit with the left foot.
So if you look, she never flipped her hand. So a couple of the athletes did that. Mia did, and Jain. They never flipped the right hand into an undercling. So it kind of, like your shoulder is kind of pushing in the wrong direction for the jump. It opens way out. So if you had it as an undercling with the thumb towards the wall, and you as you're coming out, you don't have anything pushing you out. Whereas with the grip being upside down almost, to adjust your hand to have it then with your palm down, it pushes your shoulder out, and that kind of pushed her just a little bit out of position to be able to grab it.
There we go. So it was good to see it in slow motion. All right, Xianso is up on the left for the women, and Satone Yoshida for the men. Keeps going on the right. Malik, do you let your athletes wear those titanium patch things he's wearing? Have you looked into the...
I have not, and I don't really like anything with that. I try not to interfere with anything like that.
Yeah, we saw a craze of it last year. So suddenly everyone wearing them. The German team got involved, but
you know, I mean, like even like K-tape, like some people just put it for like mentally feeling better about it, or like some people like the look of it. To be honest, right?
It does
look
look
like
quite cool.
Everyone's super injured, yeah. So they want to do that. It's up to them.
There we go. Yeah, I've wanted to ask that for a while. All right, Xianso makes the jump look great down there. Easy through for her.
But I'm definitely not the type that likes to experiment too much with that kind of stuff.
No, it's a bit, yeah. I'm not sure how much science is in that one, but hey, if it works for you, it works for you. Why not? Satone is climbing well, entering the thuggy bit of the route and the steepest part of this wall here in Villars. Couple of athletes to go. If you're just joining us, you've missed a great comp so far. Fascinating stuff. My name is Matt Groom, joined by Malik here in the commentary box. Malik giving us some wonderful insights into the athlete's mentality and the coach's perspective. Tone reaches underneath, gets the jib with the left hand, bumps with the right. And Xianso, from doing so well in boulder, you know, it was a part of her game she needed to work on, came back, and it's now good to see her unleash herself.
Yeah, she looks incredible this year.
Quickly become one of the sort of more experienced members of that Korean team. Like I remember when she was younger coming in, she looked a bit insecure, you know, a bit nervous, and now she's so confident.
Yeah, but okay, so if we think of what we just said earlier about Annie, right, in terms of like she seems shy and all that, if you think of it's kind of the same. It's just the growing pains of being on the circuit so young. You know, I'm sure the experience from past years have helped her, and she's incredible this year. Like, it's really nice to see, even in training, watching the way she trains. It's really nice.
Yeah, she's figured it out, hasn't she? She's worked it through. Yeah, I forget, you get to see all these athletes training as well, and you know, the side we don't get to see.
Yeah, I mean, not all, but a fair bit. Like, we have a pretty good, nice.
Yoshida hits the right.
Good relationship with almost all the federations, or at least I try to build good relationships. So sometimes we do trainings together, and sometimes just by chance. My goodness, so that heel just wasn't sitting very well.
No, he was about to rock onto it, wasn't it? And it popped for him. Yep. Xian as well had a real moment there, but managed to hold the swing. That boulder strength coming in. Makes the clip. Yeah, I think it's good. I think having those relationships and just working with other federations, other climbers, seeing how they do it, you know, it must improve the team.
For sure.
All right, so she's into that vital thumb catch with the right hand. Nails the right foot as well, and now needs to press her way upwards.
Very nice.
That crimp is nasty, very blocked. It becomes better when you turn the body like that.
Yeah, she's mostly like almost vertical right now. Like that's a really good angle.
Well, there it is. That's the crimp behind the rope. Now, we haven't seen any top from the women. She is someone who could do this. She's got time on the clock. I think it's just hit the minute mark. Left foot up into the blocked crimps. Accuracy now when you're pumped is difficult. Right hand though.
Come on.
Each move standing up taller. Full focus. Left crimp in.
This move is interesting.
It's just like you're going to have to kick that foot out.
Pop now to the next hold. And
yeah,
drop
in.
Come on, you got it.
Oh, she hit it with the right foot, kicked away from the wall, took the ride down to the bottom, but that is the high point for the women. So she is guaranteed to get into the final tonight.
For sure.
Good work from the Korean athlete. Right, nearing the top 4 here. Cherry pickers wait like sort of monsters on the left of the stage. They'll be immediately wheeled out once the audience has gone.
So Laura falling early makes Mia go into finals.
And Mia guaranteed with 4 to go. There is Team Korea. A couple of smiles now. You're on camera. The free Villars sunglasses that they're handing out here on most people's faces at the moment in the audience. I haven't got a pair yet. I need to go and borrow some. All right, well, the rope is being pulled for the women. Next 2 out, Yoshiki Ogata for the men, and then Brooke Rabatu for the women. And that's nice to see. Jen Kim was waiting around for quite a while, actually.
Wow.
Immediately talking about the moves. I'd want to not talk about the route when I got done, you know. I just want to be like, forget it. But all the athletes, immediately, they're talking through hand sequences. It must play through their heads.
Yeah, I mean, she had a good route, right? It's not like she fell early and
True,
someone's
yeah.
like, oh, you know, so. And each athlete, again, is different. But I think at that level, when you come down and it's another athlete, it's okay.
It's learning as well, isn't it, I suppose? And especially talking to someone like Jen.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, if
she's
you
so
want to learn from
experienced.
any, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is why I love having Sean on the team, for example.
Yeah, Sean McCall not getting through, but he's in that process as well, coming back from injury, Canadian athlete.
Yeah, really encouraging seeing him yesterday. I thought he had a pretty good result based on where we're at, coming back from injury and all that. Much better than Innsbruck, and we're on our way.
Yeah, he looks strong. Everyone's looking strong at the moment. Well, Brooke launches upwards. Yoshiyuki is underway as well on the right. There they are on our split screen. So Yoshiyuki quickly through, and Brooke Rabatu took a moment to remind herself. It was a while since she's observed this route.
So they usually have up to 45 seconds to look at the route again before they have to get on the wall.
And do you encourage athletes to take that full time, or you just is that up to them? You just
Full
leave it to
time
them?
makes me a little bit nervous.
Can you get disqualified?
Maybe 30. I mean, usually you'll just get asked to get on the wall.
Okay.
I've never seen anyone get called off for that. But I mean, if it goes like over a minute and a half or something, I'm sure every other coach would be yelling.
The appeal papers would come out. Right, Brooke sets herself for the jump here. Right toe in. Does that left-hand lock-off method. Easy work from Brooke Rabatu. And Yoshiyuki as well. Flowing.
I think Ishiki would enjoy the next section.
He seems to be the climber's climber. You know, everyone you talk about Yoshiyuki is like, oh, he's an amazing guy and I love watching him
He is
climb.
awesome. You know, I had a chat, like he came to my gym for like 10 days. We invited him for a competition and then he stayed for some training after. And it was it was amazing. It was really cool. He's open to trying anything. So that was a pretty good treat I got there.
Yeah, a very, very popular man. And he gets the toe in to bring the right foot through. Brooke Rabatu gets a high left toe, double heels in. That's very trademark from her. Those two locked into position.
There we go, Yoshiyuki.
Yeah, slaps the chalk off his hands there. Team USA have all been in Innsbruck. They came up to Villars fairly early. They did a bit of training in Switzerland.
I think Josh is a big fan of Lausanne,
Yes, they were in Lausanne, you're right, yeah.
but I think Josh makes excellent choices. So
Yeah, there's some good gyms in Lausanne, so they were down by the lake enjoying that Geneva
yeah,
experience.
we'll be heading there after this event.
Yeah, Chamonix, not known for its world-class gyms. Yeah, Brooke needs to flick that hand, doesn't she?
Come on, but figure it out.
Yeah, she needs to, as this jump is going to be far harder. She's got
Oh,
a weird right foot, and then...
She did flip the hand, though.
Okay, so she's set for it. Yoshiyuki Ogata fell. And Brooke gets the heel in. That is the heel that's locked in for Brooke Rabbitu. Malik's coaching instincts next to me kicked in. You could see you were leaning forward. You were willing her to find it.
I have to tell you, I don't think I've ever sat down for this long on a competition. Usually I'm pacing and walking around and very nervous.
It's a different experience up here, isn't it? It really,
very different experience.
It's intense. From the commentary box, well, Brooke Rabbitu is crossing through. A little micro shake out. Now she needs to find enough energy to do this move. It's a big one. Left hand easily out. Thumb in. Brings the feet.
Little pop.
Drops. Oh! Now what happens there? Because that, and we talk about peels, that could be one.
No,
or not.
it's her own. She impeded her own.
But it might have saved her. I mean, it stopped the momentum.
It really did. Well,
it's gonna be, yeah. Malik is now looking
I'm
at
just
the
looking at the coach's zone to see if anyone's picking up some paper.
Because usually the rope gets in the way, but that definitely stopped the swing.
That definitely stopped the swing and helped a little bit.
Right, I've never, to my knowledge, I don't remember seeing that. It's a first for me anyway. All right, well, Brooke will continue. She won't care about appeals and all of that malarkey.
No.
Right now, she just wants to get high.
But I'm assuming the Koreans will appeal because it would put Jae Kim in there.
All right, well, interesting stuff here. Brooke Rabbitu with the right foot stretched out, tries to get a drop knee in. Doesn't use that press method, or as much of a press anyway. Really trusting that right drop knee. Brooke up with the match, looking casual. That drop knee as well was very impressive. All right, here we go. Into the head wall, pressing with the palm, upgrades the left foot. All the rubber possible, pressing on that green. Into the clip. Big reach through with the right hand, but she got it. Right foot flagging out towards the right. Hits the side pull accurately, but this jump is a bit tricky at the end. You've got to find a bit more power when you're pumped. Spots the sloper, eyes it up, right hand, one hand on. Matches, but this is the jump moment. Big support from the crowd.
Whoa.
And a huge swing. Looked like she was trying to almost push away and statically drop into it.
So yeah, she was trying to get, so the foot went, she should have gone with the hand and the foot at the same time. It looks like she was just trying to aim for the foot first and then get the white flat hold. And that didn't work out for her. That said, it's the high point, so.
Yeah, it's certainly enough.
Yep.
Brooke, afternoon's work is done. She will now go. Try to recover. And how do the athletes recover,
I'm
Malik?
trying to see.
Are we looking for appeals here? This is.
I'm trying. So I could see the JP there standing close to the coaches.
Yeah.
And then I could see people looking at their videos. So.
Well, this is it. We're watching a replay of what happened. So she made the move, and look at the right foot that kind of got caught up in the rope. It was the right foot. Let's see. So left hand out.
So you cannot use any artificial equipment to help you either advance or do anything.
I mean, obviously she didn't. It wasn't something she was doing deliberately. It just happened like that.
No, for sure. But like the same as standing on a bolt, you don't do it deliberately sometimes, but you can see.
I mean, look, slow motion is always bad, okay? But it did look like she. But then, would it count as weighting the quick draw, for example? You know, you can't do that.
Well, you can't pull on the rope, right?
Okay.
So she pulled on the rope with her foot accidentally, but she did pull on the rope. So I'm sure there's gonna be an appeal. I would hate to make that appeal because she climbed great, and it's not like she did it on purpose. But it's the same thing as, you know, someone standing on a bolt. Like, you'd hate to do it, but you got to do it for your own athletes at some point. So.
All right, we'll leave this drama, but I can see a lot of activity going on down in the coaches area right now. So, right, let's focus on the athletes on stage right now. We'll wait and see, though. Natalia Grossman, Brooke's teammate, is on the wall on the left, and then right, Toby Roberts.
I'm kind of enjoying this view that I have for this event. This is very different, but it's been good.
Trust me, Malik, we get to see everything. It's so good. I know a lot that I can't say as well, so it's always fascinating. All right, Natalia is underway.
I'm super excited to watch Toby here.
Yeah, Toby is one to watch for the future, for sure. reaches up high, clips it in, and he's got a YouTube channel that's worth checking out. He's doing his vlog series of his World Cup circuit, and it's interesting stuff, so go and have a look at that. Toby drops the foot under, and Natalia, as we'd expect, easy through, and I don't think she'll have much of an issue with this jump. Looks for a knee bar, though, early on, does get it, uses it to get the right hand up.
It's pretty shallow.
And just to let you know, a judge has approached Brooke Rabatou on the stage, and that she is definitely talking about that moment. So that's being discussed on the stage right now with Brooke. That's what's going on down in Soap City, down on the bottom. Soap drama, I should say.
And then there's, you know, let's say that was a case and it's appealable. Is it a reclimbable situation, or is it just a scoring situation?
Well, that will play out.
And this is not a very typical appeal that might happen. So I think everyone might be, I don't want to say confused, but everyone wants to get it right.
Yeah. Right, when Natalia got through the jump, Toby into the pinch, which is so heavily chalked up now. You can see everyone touching. That is what we were talking about. So the judge talking to Brooke down at the bottom, what we presume is that rope incident. All right, Natalia, high right foot. Her foot safely underneath the rope, gets the crimp.
I think they're just keeping her on standby in case they decide it might be a reclimbable situation, but I really don't think it is.
She's putting her shoes away. I don't think she's going to climb again.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Natalia reaches under. Oh, drama at the end of this semi-final here. Toby as well is cruising. Just 3 to go. Oh, including these guys. So 2 to go after this. Natalia with a slightly shaky heel, she locks it in, and then we'll match underneath. Easy into the clip for her. And Toby, that shot, which always gives away how hard the athletes are trying through there. Crosses under, reaches up.
That shows, it's really neat to see the difference between, you know, earlier on and now. Even in qualifiers, usually more. But you can see that the way he grabbed it was not ideal. You want it as an undercling, but because he's so good right now and so strong and powerful, it didn't matter. He just, like, really good control going to that hold. He has his toe hook on now.
Well, interesting. Toby trying to maybe look to see if he can clip that. He's very stretched out. If that's what he's thinking. I think he's just shaking. Natalia, this is an important move. Just 2 fingers on with the left hand. Brings the right foot through. Matches with the right hand over the top into the pinch. All right, Toby towards the head wall, but this is the tricky move. He's got to progress further than this. Crosses with the right hand. And Natalia checks the clock. And this was the move that might have messed with Brooke. Toby reaches up left. What's he going to do with that right foot, though? At the moment he's got that heel in, this is important. It needs to stick. Clipping off that heel, clearly confident with it. Natalia falls on the mat. She couldn't work it out. Frustration from her. And I don't think that is going to be finals for Natalia.
No, I don't think that's enough. And she doesn't even get the plus, right? She just gets the 33, I want to say.
So Natalia disappointed on the ground. Toby is resting in this position. He's going to be in the finals, though, I think. Oh, I said that way too prematurely without looking at the scores. We'll check that. But Toby's nearing a guaranteed place.
Yeah, so Natalia would get 35. She didn't progress towards the match, so she doesn't get the 35 plus.
Problems for her. Toby goes out right.
Wow, Toby.
How is he crimping that thing? He could be about to go here. Moves the left hand down.
You know, I always think that way about Toby, and then he just crushes.
Well, remember that gold medal boulder he did where he used everything? Look, that's what he's holding
crossing
onto.
But he just crossed into it.
Oh, insane.
Wow.
Toby's try hard is outrageous. Look at this. That.
Wow, Toby. My God.
Oh. Well, he deserves extra points for style on that one. Fingers of steel from Toby Roberts. So we'll wait for the scores.
Here's an interesting situation for you. So he grabbed the Rock City where there is a hold on top of it. So depending on how the route map is, he might not get that hold because it's put as the actual, if it's the black, not the big yellow, right? He wouldn't get that hold, he would just get the plus.
Okay, so because he changed the sequence.
No, because he didn't grab the black. He went on the low side of the big rock city, not where the black hold is attached to it.
Okay, well, we're going to see his score in a minute, so it's going to be interesting to see where he ends up. That is our top 8 at the moment. Salome is down in 8th, the danger zone. Xianso, top 45 plus. Brooke Rabbitoo is still in that second position, so if there is an appeal, it hasn't been got yet.
Yeah, so Toby did not get 37, even though he held it. He got 36 plus, because the 37 is actually the small hold attached to the big rock city yellow and black hold.
Okay, there we go. So that explains that. But he is guaranteed a final place with 2 to go. So Toby will climb again, and Jakob Schubert is out. And he did some pretty special things, and he's climbing next to his teammate Jessica Pilz, who was also pretty special in Innsbruck.
So Jain Kim is in final.
Oh, that's, well, good.
There you go.
Jain Kim, she said she wanted to do her daughter proud. She has done. We'll see her climbing later on.
And then Yufei Pan is also in finals.
This is going to be a good final. Make sure you set your alarms if you're watching this. Come and join us. What is it, 8 p.m. tonight? Something like that. I think 8 p.m. Central European time will be the finals. Right, Jakob nods to the B-layer. He's underway. Jesse has started climbing. The 2 Austrians always show up on a big event.
This is the second time we've seen 2 Austrians on the wall at the same time today.
Yes, it is. Team Austria as well. Very impressive. Good program.
Nikolai and Matea earlier.
All right, Adam. Oh, Adam. Wrong person. Jakob starts
We're
going
a
left.
few minutes early.
Yeah, just. Adam's out next. Jesse looking very, very calm yesterday as well. Had a good quality session.
Nice, Jesse.
Straight in for Jesse. Okay. So she'll rest here for a while. Jakob comes up to this awkward looking but quite a good hold on the purple volumes. Makes the pinch with the thumb. Bumps out to the sloper for Jakob. Cuts these and swings across. And he's going to have to turn something on here as he traverses towards the right. Jesse swings left, gets the heel in. So left toe pressed against high right heel, reaches up with the right hand. And Jakob jumps over to the right, adjusts and bumps. It's such a Jakob move, that. Make sure, right toe. He's not using a toe yet, just pure arms. Some athletes have put their toe up into that right hand. And it is raining heavy here again in Villars, the storm coming around in circles.
Come on, Jesse. There we go.
So Jesse has the right shoulder in. You can't jam that left foot, by the way, between the volume and the
she's just standing on the...
Yeah. It's too flared, too hard.
Oh, nice. So she did not flip her hand, but again, she didn't need to.
So just continue the movement.
Yeah, she kind of, you can see her hand rotate as she's jumping out.
So Jakob Schubert is nearing the point he needs to get to for finals here. He has to go further though. Brings the right hand through. Jessie as well is about to enter her resting position, or a possible resting position.
Once you get the next one more hold.
Now what will Jakob do with the right foot? We know it's all about that. He's keeping it low and he's going to go for it low.
Oh, wow. Okay, if you're wondering how strong is Jakob right now,
that's it,
that
isn't
explains it?
Yeah, that is. No one else has managed to make that work apart from him, but he can't make the clip in that position. Matches.
My goodness, Jakob is feeling it.
He really is. He's on some jibs, but this is the horrible crimp. We know how small it is.
But he likes a really good fight. Wow.
Nearly hit it, and we'll wait for the scores for Jakob to see.
He's happy.
I think it's through.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so
and
Jakob's
he's happy,
in.
and that's nice to see.
Jessie needs to bump this right hand over. Jakob in third,
not
as she
again.
hits the rope as well. Second time we've seen it. Okay, well, this is all really going to depend. I mean, if they've appealed Brooke, they'll appeal Jessie, but then Jessie fell, so maybe different.
But it doesn't matter, yeah, because she
Yeah.
fell, it's not going to matter. She'll still get 35 plus.
So for her, the rope might have got in the... So maybe Jessie, maybe that disadvantaged her.
Yes.
So we'll have to, we're trying to get a replay for you because it's fascinating the fact that Brooke, it kind of stopped her, but Jessie, it might have caused it. We'll see in a moment when we see it in slow motion.
Yep. The good thing for Jessie is she is in finals, so she'll get a chance to fight again. Ooh, a little rope burn maybe.
Yeah, she was definitely having a little bit of a limp. Let's see
Yeah.
this replay here. So she sets herself up, left hand up nicely. Watch the rope.
So this is the same position Brooke was in. She kind of went around the rope, which in my mind should have made it easier, but the moment, yeah.
I mean, she's fully in it, isn't she?
Yeah.
And then flicked it up, what would have caused that limp.
Yeah.
I think if she hadn't fallen, she used it even more than Brooke did almost. Like she was really into that rope. Okay, final two athletes out. And a couple of names you might know. Adam Ondra on the right-hand side, his first lead comp of the year, and Janja Garnbret from Slovenia on the left. Double gold medalist from Innsbruck. And do go on the IFSC YouTube channel. There is an interview I did with her, with Janja, when we gave her Athlete of the Week. And it is one of the most honest interviews I think I've ever watched. She was very open about her feelings after the injury, what it meant to her, how she had feelings of doubt. Go and have a look at that video. It's a good one. All right, boot is off.
That's a good thing to remember.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't want to be having them on the wall. And we are underway. Final two athletes, the last two who can make an impact on our top 8. So Janja into the underclings. Makes the easy clip. And then Adam is rocking up through the heel. Adam was looking good yesterday.
Really good.
And Janja, the only athlete to top both routes, so good from her as well. Shouldn't have much problem with this jump. She will have seen moves like this many a time. Sets herself. Pretty static, that left arm lock-off method. And Adam climbing quickly as well. Get ready for the power screams from him. And just to let you know, Jessie is also being talked to by the judge, presumably about that rope catch down on the stage. At least they know what to say this time. All right, yeah.
But again, the fact that she fell, it won't affect anything. Actually, you could appeal that the rope impeded her if you're Austrian, and you say, okay, the rope impeded. Now, it wasn't the belayer. It wasn't their fault, but it was the rope. So usually if the belayer, let's say, pulls you tight on a jump, you can appeal that, and then they review to see if the rope got caught like tight.
But if you tangle yourself up in the rope...
In this case, yeah, that's... it's been a really interesting season with appeals so far.
Oh, look at that. Sorry, that heel hook from Adam as
Nice.
he rocks up. And Janja slow and steady as she approaches the second jump. Adam hasn't looked like he's really struggled so far, but this move is easy to make a mistake on. Only Jakob did it with the right foot low, almost on the metal. And I think he's going to do the same. No, he doesn't. He changes. Now that's different again.
Yes.
Alex did it with the toe.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Alex got the toe. Adam got a heel, which looked better, in my opinion.
Yeah, it did look more. Alex's toe was very tenuous.
Yeah, the toe, like you kind of have to go around, and there's dual texture. So the heel just sunk in real nice.
Okay, well, last few moments for Adam Ondra. Janja's got a bit of a way to go before the end of her route. Adam, though, will find this rest as everyone's done. But this next crimp, having seen that close up, I realise how nasty it is now. Toby trying to turn that was outrageous.
That was wild. But I mean, we saw that in bouldering in Brixton with Toby. Like,
yeah,
he really likes to get super high on those shouldery moves. And
right, Adam is relaxed.
Adam is enjoying it. That's
he
good.
just needs to hit this. So he's one move away. He even had a look down at Janja then. As if to say, go on. All right, here we go. Final move for Adam. It is droppable, though.
I think he's going to hit it.
Oh, no, it isn't. So
I was going to say, I think he's going to hit it without jumping.
Yeah, he almost had the reach.
Yeah, but because of the way the hold is turned, it would have been way better to go double-handed.
It's hard to see that final hold. If you're observing it from the ground, it's almost impossible. Look at Janja, come on.
Okay, this is going to be, now what do you do?
All right, so
now,
another rope catch. Oh. Amazing, isn't it? We haven't seen that at all until now. We've seen it 3 times.
Yeah, now because Jessie, like let's say Janja, they say, okay, we stop your scoring because of the rope, she still makes finals because she stuck that move. Not that she'd be happy with that, like she wants to top. But at least like, as a coach, if I'm like panicking about, okay, she's just gonna stop scoring here, at least I know she's in finals.
Yeah, the amount of activity in the coaches area is hilarious. All right, everyone working hard down there. There's like 4 people, 4 different coaches all approaching.
The IFSC judges running around too.
Yeah. All right, well, it doesn't matter for Janja. She has a job to do. She's into the head wall, into the crimps. Looks down at the clock to check the time. She has time, about 1:20 on the clock. The soap opera down below does continue, people weaving around. Janja gets the left hand up. Got to be accurate here, though. Right foot dragging on the wall to slow that barn door. And no one has made it through this move yet. She's got to hit the black with 2 hands and then jump or drop down.
Yeah, but this move is designed for Janja, for sure.
So Janja-like, for sure.
Come on, Janja.
Look at that poise with the left foot, toe, needle-like onto the hole, drops in. That is not as easy as she made it look. And I think we could see our first top of the women's route
here. She has 25 seconds. She knows that. That'll be enough.
Up. This is going to be a top for Janja. That's 3 out of 3 for her. She reaches down, will make the clip, but we have to wait for rope gate to play itself out. So we will see.
Very nice.
What happens here? But Janja's got a top, and now it's in the hands of the judges and the coaches and those appeal forms. Do remember, if you're watching this, we might not know on air the final scores. So we will obviously announce the final scores as we know them. But do look at the IFSC app later on. Everyone going crazy down in the coaches area.
I feel like I'm missing out a little bit, but this is a situation I think I prefer to miss out on.
It's definitely going to be tense down there. That is guaranteed. Well, we wait for our results as we have them. Malik can go away and do some digging in a second and find out what's going on. Janja undoes the rope, big smile on her face. I'm waiting for the judge to approach her. Janja goes to the edge. Audience start to fade their way out. They will go away now as he... And let's have a look at this Janja rope catch. So she's set
not
up.
all of them will be judged the same way also, because you have to judge how much did it impede or help.
It's very similar, if not more. Look, she got caught up in it. Okay, well... I mean, look, again, everything looks different in slow motion, okay? But it's the same issue. It's the same movement. She got her right heel caught around it. She hasn't been approached by a judge yet, but they wouldn't probably right now. All right, well, we're going to say goodbye. There she is. We up with there's the German coach.
She's going to be super busy.
Definitely lodging an appeal down there, and it will be familiar to that poor judge down there at the moment. All right, well, this will play out after the competition finishes.
it might be something else. I don't know why the Germans would be appealing. It doesn't really affect them at all.
Okay, so, well, would they? Well, we'll see. Well, this is the provisional results as we know them. So, Serato Anraku, Colin Duffy, Adam Ondra, Jakob Schubert, Toby Roberts, Alex Magos, Shion Omata, and Yufai Pan. No problems for the men. They are likely to go through. That's our top 8. Sean Bailey close, 32 plus. Count back, meaning he's pushed out, as is Taiso Homer on 32 plus as well. So tight around that crux move for the men. Remember, just 8 to go through, so we know who they are by now. And as we continue down, Sasha Lehmann had an unlucky day, won't repeat the gold medal from before. Hamish MacArthur, good from him, 13th. Well done. Luca Pottinger coming back. Yuval Shemela down the bottom in 20th, or near the bottom in 20th. 29 plus, causing problems for a few people. And finally, at the bottom, Neo Suzuki from Japan, 12 plus. Very early fall from him, the only one to fall on the purple pinch down low. Nikolai Uznik as well will be pleased with that result for him. Good work. Jesse Grouper, though, missing out on a final. Shame not to see him climbing again. And now the women. Who knows with this one? But currently, Yanya Garnbrett got a top. Xian So, 45 plus. Brooke Rabatu, Natsuki Tani, and Mattia Pozzi in a final. Mia Krampel, Jane Kim, and Jessica Pilz. And Molly bumped out.
Big
35 plus.
heartbreaker for Molly and Salome, just by count back. That's a hard way not to make it.
Oh, it really is. So, so close. Well, as we go down, Natalia Grossman, disappointment from her, 35. She could see it in her face. She wants to do a little better than that. She won't climb again tonight. Laura Rogada down the bottom as well. Had trouble on the jump. Huge flying leap sideways. You can see Adolfo in her first semi-finals. PB for her, 19th. Manon Healy as well. She had a fairly early fall. Down at the bottom, Sol Sa, 26 plus. Elnaz, nice to see her back. Annie Sanders, again, had an early slip. And Oriane Berton would have done enough for her. Right, well, Malik.